There's a sellout crowd at Texas Stadium tonight for the Los Angeles Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys. The sellout crowd, that's not unusual, but the emotion that is riding higher in Dallas is unusual in this cool, calm establishment city, because one would think with the Raiders in town that Darth Vader is here to kidnap little orphan Annie. The Cowboy fans, they don't get up too much, neither the Cowboy players, but we've got a lot of emotion going in this one. The undefeated Cowboys already midway through the season looking for perhaps an undefeated season. They're 7-0. The last time they went 7-0 was in '77, and they won the Super Bowl that year. The Raiders, a good, strong, tough football team. They won 4 in a row. They've dropped 2 of the last 3, but they are all hands present tonight, and we're looking for quite a football game. And for the Raiders, as I turn to my colleagues, O.J. Simpson and Don Meredith, Howard Cosell not with us tonight, getting a much-needed vacation after the telecast of the World Series and working on Battle of Network Stars and, of course, his sports beat. So, O.J., for the Raiders tonight, a change at quarterback, and a dramatic one.
Well, it's been the big news for the Raiders this week has been Mark Wilson. Early in the week, the fact that he would replace Plunkett, and later in the week, his new contract. Friday, he signed a 5-year contract for a reputed $4 million. Now, there's a lot of different stories as to the events that led up to that signing. We'll talk about that a little later. The Raiders entered the stadium tonight with the #1 defense in the NFL, but that hasn't been enough. They've been victimized by a host of problems on offense. They hope Mark Wilson will solve that tonight, but they're going up against a tough one tonight, Danny, and the Dallas Cowboys undefeated.
Sure thing. What they paid that guy who's been starting all along. That's really amazing. The Cowboys played probably their best game last week against Philadelphia. They've won 7, as everybody knows, and haven't lost yet. But the game against Philadelphia showed a little bit of the spark that Coach Landry's been looking for the Cowboys. Danny White, as a starting quarterback here in Texas Stadium, started 27 ball games and has won 25 of them. Pretty good record. Yet, folks still want a little bit more. Going to have a good ball game. I think the Cowboys are ready for it. So, Frank, let's get this thing kicked off.
And there is emotion in Texas Stadium tonight. Seriously, the Raiders, having been at odds with much of the establishment of the NFL. And, of course, when you talk of establishment, you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. As you can see, the Cowboys have won the toss. They have dropped Rod Hill and Ron Fellows deep to receive the kick of Chris Barr. And we are going to see the change that O.J. mentioned. Mark Wilson opening for this man who really had himself a tough time last week against Seattle. 3 interceptions, a couple of costly fumbles, and perhaps given a little rest, we'll see Jim Plunkett later in the year. That remains to be seen. We're underway. Barr, high kick, and it goes to Rod Hill at the 6-yard line. Hill up the sideline, and Hill out close to the 30-yard line. So the Dallas Cowboys will have good field position, and Danny White trots on to the field. And Danny White, well, what can you say? He has not lost a football game this season, and still every now and then he hears the cries of "We want Gary Hogaboom." That, of course, from the fine performance of Hogaboom in the past couple of pre-seasons and in the NFC Championship a year ago when Danny White was knocked out of that game. We open with 2 tight end offense for the Cowboys. That'll be Doug Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. The setback, Tony Dorsett. Gifted, talented offensive unit. This is Dorsett. And Dorsett taken down from behind. Lyle Alzado now in his 13th year, and a real inspiration to this defense as we look at them now. They'll change considerably. That's the front 3, but we'll see a lot of Greg Townsend, a rookie from TCU, and Bill Pickell, another rookie. Those are your linebackers, and the aging wonder Ted Hendricks just rolls along. Good secondary. Mike Davis, strong safety, suffering from a broken hand, but still in there with a covering on it. As Tony Dorsett, you will notice, still has his hand bandaged, but the large cast looks like it's been shortened somewhat. There was a loss of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 12. The ball at the 28-yard line for Dallas. Drew Pearson, top of your screen, 1 wide receiver. This is Dorsett.
Good move.
And a quick move to pick up another couple of yards. Short of the 1st down, however, out over the 35 to the 36, where it will be 3rd down and 4. Ted Watts up there defensively. And Don, what can you say when you watch this young man? He has made a lot of yards this year, and some of them have been so tough.
Good little counter move by Tony. You see come back, pick up the lead guard. There's a good move right there. Ted Watts says, I'm going to have to be looking at this all night. Hold on. Tony's a good one, Frank, and we've seen him play a lot of good ball games. Hate to use that word, a good one. He's much better than a good one. You know, he's a heck of a football player.
Newsom is in. Number 30, Ron Springs, a good running back and a good receiver out of the backfield. He's coming off 3 consecutive games of 100 yards or more running and receiving. That's Ron Springs, but Danny White now out of the shotgun, 3rd and 4. And Cosby over the middle, he couldn't hold on. Swarming Raider defense. and the Cowboys. First possession will have to punt away as Tom Landry, with that unbelievable record, 5 Super Bowls involved, and they're thinking Super Bowl down here in Dallas. You can be sure of that this year. Greg Pruitt, the veteran who has performed so well, not only for the Raiders, but for so many years with Cleveland, drops back. John Warren, his first year in relief with Danny White, as a Cowboy punter, a rookie free agent out of Tennessee, will punt for Dallas. And, of course, Greg Pruitt with a fine return average. He had that big one against Washington early in the year, 97 yards. Warren hangs it up. Fair catch called for at the 30-yard line. And so the Raiders will have good field position. And already there's a little flare-up on the field. And we are going to watch Mark Wilson come out.
One
big,
flag.
fat, new contract. Last year, Wilson only had 2 attempts. He came in last week with the Raiders in deep trouble in the 4th quarter. He was 8 of 11. He produced 2 touchdowns, 106 yards. His big year was in '81 when Plunkett had a sore thumb, and he started 9 games. He had some great moments. He had some questionable moments. But he's got a fat wallet, and there is much talk among the Raiders players, and we'll talk about that a little later on.
Well, let's take a look at the Cowboys. They will be blitzing quite a bit tonight, and you'll be seeing Wilson roll out a lot to get away from some of that pressure.
Of course, when you get a young quarterback, why not? On 1st and 10, Wilson, the big man, steps up into the pocket, and that ball batted away. Everson Walls knocking it out of the hands of Malcolm Barnwell, and there was a good surge by the Dallas defense quickly.
We'll see the end of the play. One of the best defensive backs in this game today. Everson comes up, and he had to play well defense. Actually, the Raiders were trying to roll out that time, and I think it may have messed up their timing a little bit. Too Tall Jones got in the way of the rollout.
That Everson plays the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure
came
does.
across, put that right hand out there and knocked it away.
2nd down and 10. The Raiders at their 30-yard line. Ball is loose, and the Cowboys are covering.
A ball right there.
Mark Wilson just spinning away from the center, and there is trouble brewing at the bottom of that pile. There is some flailing going on.
There's going to be a lot of that. You know, it didn't even wait. This is his first series.
Well, Henry Lawrence made one of the cardinal mistakes. He started the fight while he was on the ground.
You know,
Flags are down. You saw the recovery made by Ed Jones and the appropriate boos from the partisan Cowboy fans. It does not belie the fact that the Dallas Cowboys get the turnover, and this is what really has hampered the Raiders in the last few weeks, the turnovers, and they've turned it over in their first series.
just in case there's any doubt, the Raiders said, let's get this thing going.
We have offsetting personal fouls, unnecessary roughness, number 70 black, 44 white, penalties refused, or offset, first down.
So the penalty, Henry Lawrence for the Cowboys, and they said Robert Newhouse. That, of course, not the case for Dallas.
Well, there was a lot of talk this week about the jerseys, that the Raiders would have to wear black and the good team would be wearing the white. I believe the Raiders, part of their game plan is to turn those white and blue uniforms red, white, and blue. As you can see, he never got the ball. This is something you do expect with a new quarterback in there in game situations.
1st down and 10, 34-yard line. Mark Wilson spinning away, just left the ball with the quarterback, and this is the man we spoke of. Springs out of the backfield, down the sidelines, inside the 20 to the 17. Dallas first down, and there's another flare-up. Ron Springs getting into a little bit of a shoving match with Van McElroy, the free safety for the Raiders. Drew Pearson was also involved in that. Well, and Dallas gets their first down.
The Raiders had a blitz on that time, and Matt Millen was caught trying to cover Ron Springs, and it just won't happen.
Basic
it can't be
mismatch.
done.
Basic mismatch.
Danny White passing just under 62% of the year. 12 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Last week, 24 of 37. And beating Philadelphia 37-7. He also had 2 touchdowns. 1st down and 10, the ball inside the 18-yard line. Springs, single setback. He'll try the right side. Springs, strong at 218 pounds. Bulls close to the 15-yard line for a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Matt Millen and Reggie Kinlaw defensively for the Raiders.
Kurt Peterson, right guard. They're really proud of the offensive line down here. We've talked about it many times before, but Jim Myers thinks in Donovan Scott, Rafferty, Peterson. Cooper's a little hurt tonight. We may see limited action from him.
We have Paz Derrick in at right tackle instead of Jim Cooper done.
But they don't feel like they lose much when they got Paz Derrick in there is the point. 2nd
down and a long 8. Out of the eye, Tony deep, about 8 yards. Danny White, timing pattern, looking for Tony Hill, and good coverage by Ted Watts. Danny White had to hang it up, out of the end zone, incomplete, 3rd down and 8.
You'll be seeing that play on Ted a lot tonight because Ted is one of these corners that like to cover his man with his back to the quarterback, and he doesn't really sense when the ball is there well. And he's been beaten even though he's had his man covered quite often this year.
You saw Tony Hill. He has been out of action for 4 weeks, the leading Cowboy receiver over the past 4 years. He's back tonight. He's had a very sore foot. 3rd down and 8. Raiders now drop into their 4-man front with a good pass rush. This is Springs. He'll throw it. And he throws it back to Danny White.
I love it. Hot doggies. That was Tim Newsom, wasn't it?
That was a double flea flicker.
Oh, man. White. That's fun.
I say down on the goal line when you're playing a lot of man-to-man, there's nobody's assigned to cover White.
Nobody covers the quarterback, right? Well, they could have messed
great call.
Could mess Dallas up because they scored first.
Newsom does a good job of making it look like a run.
It is Ron Springs, as a matter of fact.
Springs, and he turns around left-handed.
Yeah.
That may have thrown him off also.
Caught him off balance. Oh, his White got to be happy. Quarterbacks don't get to do that.
On a 3rd down and 8. The flea flicker back to the quarterback, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. And Dallas is on the scoreboard. Early moments of the first quarter. Raphael Septien for the conversion. Septien having a great year. If you're wondering about the eligibility of Danny White, the snap came from the shotgun, and that makes him an eligible man. Had he been under the center, he could not have executed that play. 12:40 remaining in the first quarter. Cowboys on top, 7-0. A Raider turnover, and they have been providing nightmares for the Raiders and their fans. Mark Wilson just pulling away from the center, left the ball. It was recovered by Big Ed Jones. The Cowboys took it in. A touchdown pass away from Ron Springs to quarterback Dan White working out of the shotgun. Septien to kick off. Greg Pruitt is deep. And this will be Clee Montgomery. Montgomery hammered at the 20, lunges forward to the 22, and there they go again.
That was that Bill Bates. I'm telling you, he's really become a heartthrob down here. He's a special teams player. He's down there first almost every time.
24-yard line, 1st down and 10. Mark Wilson steps into the huddle once again. Of course, Mark Wilson has waited in the wings for Jim Plunkett. In his 4th year, had a tremendous career at Brigham Young, set 11 NCAA passing records. Looks over the Dallas defense. It's familiar. It doesn't change much. The 4-3 on a 1st and 10. Marcus Allen. He gets about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Let's take a look at that Cowboy defense. We haven't had a chance yet. Ed Jones on the left side. It'll change considerably. There's a young man named Don Smerick they'd like to bring in on the pass rush. Anthony Dickinson, the best of the pass defenders for that linebacking core, and we've already spoke of Everson Walls. And we will see a lot of Bill Bates, whom Don spoke of a moment ago, as well as Ron Fellows in that secondary. Allen got 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The ball at the 23-yard line. Cliff Branch, he's been out for 3 weeks. Pulled hamstring. He's up at the top of your screen. He's the deep threat. Movement by the Raiders on the right side.
Oh, boy, did he fire out.
I think Henry Lawrence is trying to get a little even with Too Tall for the little scuffle they had earlier in the game.
Now back to them up 5 with the procedure call. So Mark Wilson finding it a little tough sledding here early, O.J.
Well, he has a lot on his mind. There was a little controversy today. As we know, Mr. Donald Trump, the owner of the New Jersey Generals, went on TV and said he wasn't about to sign Mark, and that they literally played Al Davis like a drum. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit after this play. Mark says that they were about to sign him, and he would have in fact signed Friday with the New Jersey Generals and Mr. Trump if Mr. Davis hadn't come up with his offer.
On 2nd and long. Branch is open, and Branch really wide open, working in front of Dennis Thurman. He'll have the 1st down out over the 40-yard line. That time the Cowboys in single coverage with Thurman on Cliff Branch. And in speed terms, that is a total mismatch, and Thurman laid way off.
Well, he has to get open quick because the Cowboys will be doing an awful lot of blitzing. Even when he threw the ball here, Randy White was right in his face. The linebackers were all coming. So they're trying to get them open quick, and after a while, you'll see them try to beat them deep. But the Cowboys will give them a big cushion all night long.
First down is at the 42-yard line of the Raiders. Single setback. Wilson, a little bit of a play action. Looking for Barnwell over the middle and almost picked off. Stepping right in front of that pass was Michael Downs, and he clapped his hands and he thought to himself, I just blew a touchdown.
Mark Wilson got up a little slowly that time. Again, I think it was Randy White and possibly Jones in the middle. Let's see it again. He had plenty of time for a while, and then the protection kind of collapsed. He couldn't get anybody open. Again, might be a little bit of inexperience. That's Jones coming in. Randy White was close. When he got up, he limped a little.
Well, Don, you said he looked a little tight in the warm-ups, and he didn't look too comfortable back there on that pass.
The big problem was downfield. Walls had Barnwell covered well. Second down and 10. Here comes the safety blitz, but they were in a running game.
Safety still got the tackle, though.
And Marcus Allen gets a couple of yards to the 45-yard line, where it'll be third down and long. We see the change as Fellows comes in, Bill Bates comes in, and we will see defensive line changes as Dutton goes out. Smerrick comes in. Situational substitution is the new phrase of the 80s. Third down, long yardage, faces Mark Wilson.
I've got a way to beat that, Frank. I know how to beat that substitution stuff. You get up there and call all your lines from the plays from the line of scrimmage. That's what you do. Of course it is. Or make them up.
Third and 7. The blitz is on. Wilson goes down. He is sacked by Anthony Dickerson inside the 40-yard line to bring up fourth down.
Well, they brought everybody. They brought 7 men. They double-teamed Todd Christensen and the defensive backs Walls, and Munson was able to stay with the wide men.
I question the logic of that call. The Cowboys had 2 extra defenders in deep. They tried to send both Branch and Barnwell very deep.
That's kind of clever.
Under the blitz, Wilson did not have time. Ray Guy, having a superb year, averaging a little over 44 yards, the best since his rookie year, at least thus far in the season. Rod Hill deep for the Cowboys, respecting Guy. Hill inside his own 15-yard line. Whistles and flags are down.
Too much time.
And they have used too much time in getting off the punt. So we'll see that once again.
A little nervousness on the part of the Raiders, it appears to me. Not only Mark Wilson, but they're all a little edgy. I think the Raiders came in and felt they had a reputation to uphold by starting a few fisticuffs, and maybe the Cowboys are saying, you're not going to get me involved that way.
Well,
that's a great shot of Guy.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders are a team that like to intimidate. When we were in Buffalo, we said we had to get as many aggressive penalties as they got. Not offsides, but if we got roughing the kicker, or roughing the runner or something, we'd be happy. We had to equal them to beat them.
That's an awful way to go play that game.
Well, that's the way you got to play them.
5-yard assessment. Guy once again. End over end. Rod Hill steps up to the 23, bobbles the ball, picks it up.
Good move.
Rod Hill with a good move to get back to the 25-yard line, where the Cowboys, with a 7-0 lead, 9:41 remaining in the first quarter, will take possession. Ray Guy, 42-yard punt. Final instruction from Tom Landry to Danny White. As Don once pointed out, why didn't they finish the top? It is a beautiful facility, though.
One of the few that when you go around the league, you see that specifically is designed for football. Maybe half a dozen in the league right now that are this way. And it is an excellent football facility. You have to give them credit for that. I don't know about the hole in there either.
And the man who took over from Roger Staubach in 1980, Danny White. And he has a 27-2 record, winning record here in Texas Stadium. Looks over the Raiders defense. First down and 10, 25-yard line of the Cowboys. Dorsett deep as a single setback. And now goes Dorsett, Lyle Alzado once again.
Well, last week we saw Joe Washington have a lot of success running that little counter play sweep. Maybe they watched the game because they tried it twice. They tried running it to the left side over here. One thing I noticed about Dorsett, it seems when he's going to carry the ball, he lines up 7 yards back, even if he's a single back. Last 2 times he carried the ball, he lined up that deep. Let's keep an eye on that. Maybe we can get a tip, you know.
That Alzado's making good, quick moves in there on the line, and for that play to work, somebody's got to neutralize him.
2 times on first down, they've called that play. They've lost 2 yards on each occasion. No contact, no flags. Dorsett, strong for the smallness of his size in the game in which he plays, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and again, tempers Flair.
There's an ISO on that counter play. Simple counter, even though they lined up in the split back and the fullback move there.
That's primarily done.
Dorsett running in the hole. Good body lean as always. A guy his height and his weight, you're surprised to see every time he gets tackled, he's going forward. He's leaning forward.
Go get him! 3rd down and 9. Butch Johnson. He's in the slot up near the top of your screen. Drew Pearson, top of your screen. A split to the left is Tony Hill. A lot of time for Danny White. Out of the backfield, and this is Donnelly. We did not anticipate seeing Donnelly. He pulled a groin muscle in practice this week. He shorted the first down, however. The former Ohio State All-American, and Dallas will be forced to punt. That means once again John Warren, and once again Greg Pruitt, a dangerous return man for the Raiders, will drop.
You know, the Raiders the last few days, I was at their practice last night, and all they were talking about was Mark Wilson's contract. Going up against a team that is undefeated, you would think they'd be intense talking about that team. Shows a little here.
Warren, he just did get it off.
Lester Hayes
came close. Here comes Pruitt.
And it's set up.
It's set up.
It's set up. Cut back. There you go.
Greg Pruitt, he's been doing it all year long, and he breaks a big one.
Yeah, he's been doing it for the last 10 years.
Down to the 26-yard line. In the early 70s, as a matter of fact, he returned for Cleveland. We'll watch it from the end zone. He still has those moves.
See Lester Hayes come in there, almost blocked it.
Had to affect the kick. It was not a particularly long kick. And it pulled it right over where that was set up. They had nobody there.
Here's the guy that knows what to do with the ball when he gets it. Start upfield. I would have cut back right there, fraction sooner. But I never could run back.
And he has really added another dimension, having come to the Raiders a week ago. He gives the Raiders good field position. 26-yard line of the Cowboys. Kenny King playing with a sore knee, single setback. Wilson is back. Looking for deep in the end zone, the intended receiver, Cliff Branch.
I think Marcus Allen lined up outside, and he was trying to hit Marcus Allen with the pass. Marcus really had his man beat early. I think the ball came a little slow there, Don.
That's Dexter Klingsfield. He did do a good job of recovering, Klingsfield did, but he could have been open, as you said early. The ball was a little bit late getting there.
7:52 remaining in the first quarter. There's Ted Hendricks. Never missed a football game, going all the way back to when he came up in 1969 with Baltimore. Playing in his 207th consecutive game tonight. Remarkable, Ted Hendricks. 2nd down and 10. Marcus Allen. Cuts back, and Ed Jones takes him in pursuit after a pickup of a couple. It'll leave Mark Wilson with a 3rd down and 8, and we'll see the changes.
That actually was a decent call on 2nd and long. You expect the Cowboys to be blitzing. They like the blitz. If you can pop a back out there, there's nobody between him and the goal line. Normally, there's one guy for him to beat if he gets to blocking at the line of scrimmage.
Tom Flores, now in his 5th year, took over. John Madden, 79. Year later, won the Super Bowl. 3rd down and 7.
Here comes everybody.
Wilson, full blitz is on. Wilson rolls out of it. And Wilson knocked out of bounds by Bill Bates, short of the 1st down. And we'll see the field goal unit. That means Chris Barr.
That guy, everybody says he's slow. I've never seen somebody show up in so many different places on the field.
They got him as a free agent, Don. He just came down here and started hitting folks.
And he did. Klingsfield had his angle was a little bit too sharp, and Mark Wilson was able to roll out on the outside. Says, I think I can pick up this 1st down. Those old long legs didn't quite make it. But Bates says, wait a minute.
Good play. Bill Bates, the rookie free agent out of Tennessee. It forces the Raiders to go with the field goal attempt at 37 yards. That's Chris Barr. He's 6 of 10 this year. His longest has been 42 yards. Wilson is the holder. Chris Barr sends it merrily on its way and splitting the uprights. And the Raiders are on the scoreboard. They trail Dallas 7-3 with 6:59 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be back at Texas Stadium in a moment. Deep for the Cowboys are Rod Hill, number 25, and Ron Fellows, number 27. Chris Barr to kick off for the Raiders. Raiders again, 5-2 on the year. The Cowboys undefeated, 7-0. Barr spins one into the corner and is taken by Ron Fellows.
Oh, he looks like he's got some room.
And they close it down quickly. 1st down and 10, Dallas. Danny White looks over at 1st and 10, and Dorsett on the pitch out. Lyle Alzado strings it out until he gets a lot of help from inside, and Dorsett is held to about a yard pickup.
I've got a feeling we're going to be able to hear a lot of Lyle Alzado tonight because Pat Donovan, who's ordinarily a Pro Bowl tackle, played last week. But he's been out with knee injuries, and he's got torn muscles in his thigh. And Lyle is the kind of guy that can take advantage of that sort of stuff.
I think we're going to hear more verbally from him. I think we're going to turn that mic down on the field in a while.
If that guy talks to you,
he's
you
quite
listen.
vocal out there.
You're right, Don. Actually, Donovan was out all last week, and he's playing with a very sore thigh muscle, working right across from Lyle Alzado. It's 2nd down and 8. Dorsett. And Dorsett hammers his way out to the 25-yard line, short of the 1st down by 3. It'll be 3rd down and a situational down for the Cowboys at 3rd and 3. Big Matt Millen, number 55, the former lineman for Joe Paterno at Penn State, now a tough run defender at linebacker for the Raiders.
3rd down situation. Frank had just received word from the Cowboy bench that John Warren, the Cowboy punter, has a slightly twisted knee, and may not come in to punt, so that would leave Danny White back there.
Probably should be anyway.
Yeah, a lot of folks think that.
Out of the shotgun. Hanging it up, and Danny White overthrew a touchdown shot. It was single coverage, and Lester Hayes played it too tight, and Drew Pearson was alone all behind, or rather Tony Hill alone all behind Lester Hayes. And we will now find out who the punter will be. John Warren steps into the huddle.
Well, Lester Hayes sort of gamble on that play. Most of your great interceptors are gamblers. We saw a few good ones today in that 49er game, and he was gambling there, and he just got beat. Tony Hill's one of the guys you can't catch once he beats you.
Greg Pruitt deep once again for the Raiders at his own 35-yard line. Warren, and once again it doesn't turn over. Pruitt steps up to the 42, and then, like all good runners who run intelligently, Pruitt saw there was nothing outside, no picket line. He got the most he could out of it, and Pruitt puts the Raiders in Cowboy territory at the 46-yard line. We'll be right back. 5:06 remaining in the 1st quarter, and the Raiders, another fine return by Greg Pruitt, and the Cowboys have been hurt all season long by punt returns from the opposition. The Raiders have field position at the Cowboys' 45-yard line, 1st down and 10. Marcus Allen.
Look out, Marcus.
Marcus taken first.
Oh, too tall.
By Michael Downs, and Ed Jones was right there to make sure.
Too tall, looked fired up that time. I mean, he didn't want to just tackle Marcus. He was trying to bury him in the AstroTurf.
They're awfully hard to run against, but they are, as you mentioned at the top of the show, they're way down statistically in the pass defense. But that can be deceiving, too, because they're not really getting killed that much. They just give up a lot of yardage. But that defense is awfully hard to run against.
2nd down and 10. Allen stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Kenny King in there now, number 33, playing with a sore knee and a brace. Along with Marcus Allen, the setbacks for the Raiders. Flooding backs to the right. Marcus Allen went single coverage. He wants it on the back. Kenny King coming out of the backfield. Anthony Dickerson right with them, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10.
There was a delayed blitz that time by Bill Bates, number 40. And from a quarterback standpoint, a guy that makes that much noise out there, you're going to hear him coming no matter where he is. He didn't get to Wilson, but I bet you Wilson saw him coming.
Well, if you see a safety coming, if I was him, I'd have looked down the middle because Cliff Branch had a slight step on his man, and normally you would think, well, safety is coming down there, that area has to be open, and Cliff was a little open on that play. I think in the film, he'd have wished he'd thrown to him.
You will agree we can see it a little more clearly up here.
From here, oh, yeah.
A lot of deep breathing down there. 3rd down and 10. Wilson has the time, finds the receivers. Barnwell, he has the 1st down inside the 30-yard line, close to the 27.
Good protection all around that time. Had him some time. He did a good job. Wilson did a good job stepping up in that pocket. But he had some time to throw.
Barnwell has been filling in for the injured Cliff Branch as a deep man. He has the good speed, too, Juice.
Yes, he does. He has a lot of speed. If anything has been suspect, it's been his hands, and he does a good job of catching it out in front there. And the ball wasn't thrown in front of him. He may have gotten a few more yards if he'd have let him a little bit.
Raiders on the prowl once again. 3:42 remaining in the first quarter. Dallas leading 7-3. First down and 10, and Marcus Allen, right side.
Whoa!
Moves right back inside Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker, and gets good yardage. Short of the first down by about a yard, but what a move he put on Bob Brunig.
Well, this is what Marcus does so well. We'll take a look at it from the end zone. He's trying to get around outside. Actually, there's not much there. What Marcus gets on this run, he gets on his own. Great move there.
The cutback against the grain. Get the big man with the weight.
Too tall is everywhere.
Heck of a block on Heckman that time. I'm not really sure who did that, but cut down Heckman. That gave him an opening.
Second down, a little more than a yard to go. Allen stays on his feet, struggles, looks for the first down, up close to it. And the man that Mark Wilson replaced, sitting on the bench, taking it all in, Jim Plunkett. Nothing new for him. He's had that great roller coaster ride and had his great moments. Rookie of the year back in '71. They'll bring out the yard markers and we'll take a look. Well, I have a little engineering job, a little repair here. Fun football game. The establishment in the form of the shiny white Cowboys with the stars on their helmet against the team that's known as the Rebels, the Raiders. Both of them with a lot of talent.
I think that's the main thing to consider is that there are two teams that have a lot of talent. And since 1960, these two teams are the most winning team. Let's see.
In fact, they argue about it.
They argue.
Which
Depends
one
where
won
you
the
go
most.
back to. It's amazing that they've only played each other twice.
That is amazing. And won and split.
That's 1-1.
First down and 10. Mark Wilson. Puts wide receivers, top of your screen. Barnwell and Cliff Branch.
Oh, he's trying to. Oh, it couldn't do it. Trying to check off. Looks like he ran out of time. However,
Now
there's
we
still
have
8
seconds on the clock. I think there's something else.
False start, 79 offense.
Okay.
Bruce Davis, the left tackle, made a move after he was set. And that'll be 5 against the Raiders. Tom Flores, 16 years he's been associated with the Raiders, either as a player or an assistant coach. And now in his 5th season as head coach, and I mentioned, of course, having gone to the Super Bowl and won that Super Bowl in his 2nd year following the '80 season. Down remains the same, of course, first down 15. Wilson, Marcus Allen.
Good score.
Red Allen to the 5-yard line, literally hurtling over Dexter Clinkscale.
Yeah, but the move that made it work, he did a little hesitation on Bob Brunig, and Brunig was just out of it.
That's right.
He did a little, what you said, put a little hitch in his get-along on him.
But that's the guy that's got to cover him. You see him come all the way out of the backfield. Heckman's going back around, too tall, couldn't quite get that high.
Now watch him do a little dip there, that little step there right here, and then take off on him.
And he picked up a couple more by going over Dexter Clinkscale. First down, goal to go. The Raiders trailing 7-3 are threatening to take the lead. Inside 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Frank Hawkins. Single setback for the Raiders. Wilson changing off. There's a pick over in the corner, and Branch will be out of the end zone. A flag is down. There's a late hit, I believe, on Mark Wilson. Like Hagman on the blitz. But there was also a little pick action in the end zone down there between Branch and Barnwell. Mark Wilson, he's 6'6", but he only weighs about 2'5", 210.
This 79 defense, a forearm to the head. First down.
Oh, I thought it was Heckman.
All right, Harvey Martin, they say, forearm somebody to the head. Harvey Martin should come in from the top of your screen. He'll be number 79. Here comes Harvey. Oh, there might have been a forearm to the chops. Penalty. First down, goal to go. Wilson looking for a receiver.
Got one.
And he finds one in the form of the 3rd tight end, Derek Jensen, and the Raiders have taken the lead.
Good composure by Wilson that time. He was trying to go left, no place to go.
He was trying to go to Don Hasselback, but Jeff Rower almost tackled him. I was surprised I didn't see a flag on that. He tackled him. That was his primary receiver. Did a good job of ad-libbing.
Cowboys have worked themselves into the situation that they like this year. They have never, well, they have won 7 in a row, and they've come from behind each and every one of those games to win, and they have another opportunity. They now trail the Raiders. Chris Barr for the conversion. There's Gary Jensen. His first catch of the season puts the Raiders out on top.
Well, let's look at Hasselback here. As I said, he's been guarded by number 50, Jeff Rohr. And that was sort of held him up there a little bit, getting out there.
Rohr, the second-year man from Yale, had pretty good position, though. The other man working with him was the back of the end zone. In the event, Jensen gets it in. The Raiders are on top, 1:35 remaining in the first quarter. Credit Greg Pruitt with a couple of assists on a 34-yard return. He set up the field goal for the Raiders. He set up the go-ahead touchdown with a 14-yard return into Dallas territory. Chris Barr to kick off. Rod Hill, Ron Fellows are deep. Short kick. Fellows from the 5. The Bird. Look out, Bert. And Fellows buried at the 14-yard line. Good coverage. First man down there. Recently signed Don Bessalou. I'll tell you, this guy can maybe go into the Yankees bullpen.
He has a way of showing up at places, doesn't he?
Roger Owens is his name.
There is Gary Jensen, as we mentioned, his first reception of the year. The Raider go-ahead touchdown. Dallas in the familiar position in the early moments of the game of being behind. Tony Dorsett, single setback. 2 tight end offense, Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. Dorsett is met. Beautiful effort by Matt Millen. We spoke of him a moment ago. He's tough against the run.
Don, are the Cowboys historically a left-running team? I don't recall them to be.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know.
They're running left all day today. You think
know.
they found something there?
What you got, Jake?
Just a reminder, at halftime, we are going to be having an expanded ABC News brief from our ABC News in New York, Peter Jennings, who once lived in Beirut in Lebanon. We'll talk about that tragic situation, and of course, we'll also have a report on the New York Marathon. That'll be at halftime. Second down and 10, Tony Dorsett works his way for perhaps 4.
He's working hard for whatever yards he's picked up tonight.
Bob Nelson shot through there and almost tackled him behind the line of scrimmage.
He's dealing with the #1 defense in the NFL through 7 games. The Raiders coming into tonight 6th against the pass, second against the pass, and 6th against the rush. They also led the league after 7 games in sacking quarterbacks. They had 29.
You can imagine the problems they've been having offensively. They've lost 2 games in the last 3 weeks, and they scored 35 and 36 points in those games.
2 losses, 4 points. Third down, 6. Danny White from the shotgun. There will be no first down as White is taken out over the 22-yard line as the final seconds expire in the first quarter.
Oh, that
good hard-hitting football game by 2 of the NFL's finest, the Raiders and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys now trail the Raiders 10-7. We'll be back with second quarter action in just a moment. 4th down Dallas, 4th down and 2. Danny White is on. John Warren, we have been told, has a sore knee. Danny White, of course, kicked for the Cowboys for 6 or 7 years. They've always looked for someone to relieve him of that duty as we look at Greg Pruitt. They thought they had him in John Warren this year, and John Warren not kicking well and has a sore knee, so Danny White, his first punt of the year. Not a good one, end over end, and Greg Pruitt bobbles it midfield, and the ball is loose. Man who was down there was Ron Fellows for the Cowboys. The Cowboys get another Raider turnover. Greg Pruitt, I think, just took his eye off for just a moment. He is a sure-handed punt catcher.
Was that Fellows on the far sideline? If it was, they just turned him a flip. He wakes up, and there's the ball.
Yeah, Greg has been very aggressive this year running punts back. Of the leaders, he's about 10 ahead of anybody else in handling the football, and he's just a little too aggressive on that. Actually, he was there in time to catch it. He just misplayed it. Let's take a look at it from the reverse angle.
You see it coming over here. Ron Fellows is flattered on the sidelines. He'll get up now, and all of a sudden, look what I found.
That's old Rod Hill is who it was instead of, I thought it was Fellows too. Hills is down there. That Newhouse is going to be around the ball, too.
Inside the 40 of the Raiders, the Cowboys on a turnover have the ball back once again. Danny White steps back in the pocket. Wide open is Drew Pearson. Inside the 15.
Was he ever throw a flag? Yeah, you got to throw a flag. Lester
Hayes a little late on Drew Pearson.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. That may have been Mike Davis.
Yeah, it was Mike.
Mike Davis?
Yeah, I would say he took him out a little far. You know, it's just one thing knocking him out of bounds. It's another thing running with him out of bounds and hitting him.
Look how open. You see, Denny's got plenty of time to throw, but look how open Drew is. Stop right in the middle.
Should have let him go right here. A little extra right there. Well, just a little bit.
That's right, just a little bit.
All the way across, deep receivers, taking men down on that side of the field. He's just wide open.
Looks like a simple route. It's something they've been running for years. He's been running that play for 10 years now and having success with it.
And the key to it is have an offensive line that can keep the pressure off your passer, because that pass takes a long time. First down, goal to go. The ball at the 7-yard line for Dallas. Cosby, Billy Joe Dupree, 2 tight end offense for Dallas. Dorsett spins, twists, outside, gets inside the 5. Much of that strictly on his own.
That's a beautiful move on his part. It's a pretty tough run when you got all your energy and everything going forward one side. To force yourself to stop that momentum and go the other way like that is pretty difficult.
Sometimes do you feel you wish you had it back, like you could have gone ahead and hit that hole? That's a hard decision, I guess. That's that instinct you're talking about.
Yeah, it's instinct and good vision. He was able to see that there was something back there and force his body over there.
Second down, goal to go. Tony Hill, top of your screen, 1 wide receiver. Drew Pearson is out to the right. Timmy Newsom, 1 setback along with the man in motion, Ron Springs.
Look like offsides.
Danny White gets out of it somehow and gets back close to the line of scrimmage, and a flag is indeed down.
Looked like the Raiders jumped a little quick to meet when they started back in motion. Cowboys do so many things. You were asking me a while ago, Jay, do they like to run left? What Dallas has done historically is not necessarily run left or run right. They look at their films. It is an offsides against Oakland, and they try to pick out a play they think they'll run. They can run that play well, then they'll change formations, where they run that same play off of one formation one week, the next week, same play, but a totally different formation. And look at the first quarter stats, pretty even. LA's given the 1 turnover, and as Frank alluded to, the punting was not particularly strong for Dallas.
You saw the indication by referee tonight, Gene Barth. Offside Raiders. Down remains the same. Second down, goal to go. The ball now marked inside the 3-yard line.
They get mean and burly and tough down here. I'm talking about that Raider defense. Good challenge to that offensive line. Oh,
inside.
Met the challenge.
And Ron Springs takes it in from 2.5 out. And Dallas now comes back out on top. And again, the Dallas touchdown provided by a turnover.
From the high end zone is what we call a 40 trap.
Herb Scott was that lead blocker in there and left it up to Ron, didn't he?
You saw the trap block. Herb Scott, he's been doing it for years, has taken him to the Pro Bowl for so many times. Raiders, of course, trying to penetrate, and it's an easy block to execute down near the goal line, providing the people are where they're supposed to be. And they were. Septien for the conversion. And Dallas leads 14-10. And I think Tom wanted to make sure they didn't get one easy by throwing the ball. He wanted to run this ball in, and he got great blocking. Let's watch Dupree.
Billy Joe Dupree coming across the middle, and he made face-to-face with big Matt Millen. All you got to do, that's a heck of a block, Billy Joe.
We got a cameraman right inside the line of scrimmage. Good shot. You saw it all. We'll be back in a moment. The Cowboys, who do it so frequently, make the most of the turnover. They have the lead now, 14-10. Septien to kick off. Greg Pruitt is deep, along with Clea Montgomery. Clea Montgomery, he'll bring it out.
Whoa.
Oh, and he might have been better advised to leave it in as he is hammered at the 17-yard line. First down and 10, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Well, I know who
I
that
think
man
it's the Bayonne Bleeder, isn't it?
Oh, poor
Is that Chuck
baby.
Webner?
Oh.
1967. Number 1 in your heart. Courtesy of Sam Blair. He broke his nose.
Thank you.
14 times. Would you believe they won that game?
Certainly we won that game. You can tell. You should see the other guy. That's very nice. Thank you very much. That came out of a book that Bob Lilly has done called Reflections with Bob Lilly. It's a terrific kind of a photographic journey through Bob Lilly's career, which was terrific.
And you saw Don Meredith's name. There's only 5 of them up there on the Ring of Honor. First down and 10. Wilson is back. Once Cliff Branch, he's covered. He dumps it off out on the flat. It goes to Allen. And Allen works and bobbles the ball. There's a scramble.
Can't believe that.
And the Raiders are picking up where they left off last week against Seattle, and Dallas has it back.
Evidently, it wasn't Jim Plunkett's fault.
Evidently, he threw a few interceptions, but they've been coughing the ball up for the last 3 weeks an incredible amount of times. I think Marcus's problem historically is he gets the ball. Oakland is not your classic running football team. He's come from college where he gained 2,300 yards his senior year, and he tries to do a little too much every time he gets the football.
And Anthony Dickerson hit Marcus Allen, and the ball was between Dickerson and Allen. It came out, and the Cowboys had the ball at the 20-yard line.
The pursuit that time. Now, there were like 5, 6 Dallas Cowboys over there at that action. That's really good defensive pursuit. You're going to pick up fumbles and make things happen.
Dallas has scored on each occasion, 2 tonight, but they've got the turnover. Almost picked off. It could have been, should have been by Bob Nelson.
And he will be thinking of, oh, poor Bob. That was a great route he ran, too. I mean,
Yeah, it would have been fun watching Bob if he caught it. He had an open field a few weeks ago. I told you it had a little slow foot speed in the middle with Bob and Matt Millen. Well, they cornered me the other day and said, we heard you said we didn't have any foot speed. Let's see you get out of this.
Oh, man.
Those are the last 3 games. We have already talked about it this evening. They have been snake bit with the turnover, fumble, interceptions. They've also given up 13 sacks, I think, something like that in the last 3 games. A troubled team, the Raiders, after they won 4 straight. Second down and 10. White fires it out complete to Drew Pearson. Not much doing, however, as Lester Hayes, one of the best that ever played the corner, is right on top of Pearson, a gain of about 3.
Lester's kind of a hometown boy, Texas A&M guy. He was kind of happy to be back in his area. Good football player.
Guys like Lester Hayes, the great cornerbacks who love to gamble, they're pretty tough to beat up in front of them. You know, you can get that short hitch pass like that, but normally they're pretty tough on those short passes. You're going to beat them, you hitch and go. A lot of times you'll beat them deep because they do gamble.
White, 4 of 8, 50 yards. He's looking over a 3rd down and 6 from the shotgun. 4 wide receivers.
There, he got him.
White, Tony Hill. He'll have the first down.
And he threw everything you can throw at a guy at that.
Tony Hill's speed, Frank alluded to it earlier. They've got to respect Tony Hill. He hasn't been playing. He does such a good little quick turnaround in here. Lester had to respect him deep. Turned around. Danny threw it right on timing. First down.
And notice how he knew exactly the yardage that he had to pick up before he set up. He got the first down inside the 10. First down, goal to go.
He did a great job on that. He beat Lester inside. Lester was trying to keep him outside, and the minute he beat him inside, Lester was in a sort of a panic there, and a little surprised. I think he surprised Lester that he stopped.
Just great quickness on Tony Hill's part.
Danny White readjusts Tony Hill, who's been out of the lineup for 4 weeks. He'll have to get it off quickly. He does. Ron Springs to the 5-yard line. It'll be second down, goal to go, and we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our friends to identify themselves. Hope you're enjoying the game. It's a game in which Dallas scored first on the ball things. Danny White, handoff to Ron Springs. Springs fired it back. A 15-yard touchdown pass to Danny White, who has punted the ball, ran the ball, thrown the ball, and kicked the ball tonight.
Has not kicked off. Has not kicked extra points yet.
That's next.
He's got some things to do.
Raiders came right back with a field goal, a touchdown. They took the lead, and then following another Raider turnover, Dallas was able to get in for another touchdown. Ron Springs from 2.5 yards out, and Dallas leads the Raiders 14-10. Timeout called by Dallas. Second down, goal to go as we rejoin the action. Dorsett, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. He might have got a yard out of it.
Pretty well covered up. They're trying to go back over on that left side again. You see Davis. They bring in a different group of players on that goal line situation. 3rd and long, you would expect some kind of a little pass. They're not going to be able to run it in from here, I wouldn't think.
We get the pass receiving core for Dallas. We get the changes quickly by the Raiders as they answer personnel with personnel. 3rd down, goal to go. The ball just outside the Raiders' 5-yard line.
Those corners are right up there on them, aren't they?
Danny White, he had to do it quickly because he was under tremendous pressure. The man that was pressuring was Howie Long, who leads the Raiders in sacks. He is a terrific pass rusher, a 3rd-year man from Villanova, and he got right in Danny White's face.
Had to be a mix-up in the blocking because there's no way he could get back there that quick on anybody. I don't know whether Donovan's hurt. We mentioned it earlier, but he was just zipping right back through there. Split the gaps.
He looked like he disassembled and reassembled.
He did. He came back too quickly.
Septian looking to settle for 3 points from 23 yards out. That's a very tough defense the Raiders put up, and that may tell later on.
Got to give them a little lift. Holding them to 3.
And Dallas capitalizes once again on a turnover. They've done it 3 times tonight. They lead the Raiders 17-10.
Well, what has been the 3 drives? Not more than 40 yards, have it? The 3 drives, how long?
They got it at the 35. They got it on the 45.
Not much more than, but nothing over 50 yards.
You aren't kidding.
No.
I was sweating it, Chester. Good game. I like this. You know what? You get the feeling is that anything can happen any second. Those are kind of games that I really like.
I do too.
Well, the Raiders are a team that they never get any one thing consistent. They never get a consistent running game or a consistent passing game. They beat you with the big play.
Yeah. And they beat you up.
No taking. Yeah. Well, I think the main thing, from what I see, other than the turnovers, is I think Wilson has to settle down a little bit. There's a few times he's okay. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he has really been spastic.
Yeah.
Texas Stadium, 65,000 plus, and it's an emotionally involved crowd tonight. The Raiders, of course, considered around the National Football League as the Rebels, and they have turned out in mass. Septian to kick off. Pruitt, Clee Montgomery are deep. This will be Clee Montgomery. Septian directs it away from Pruitt.
They got an opening.
Clee Montgomery, and Septian makes the stop. Septian makes the tackle out over the 40-yard line, and Clee Montgomery saw that little gap, kicked in the afterburner, and the Raiders have good field position.
Well, the Raiders need some big plays right now. I think overall, well, let's take a look at that from the end zone. They need a big play. They got good field position. Other than the turnovers, I think Mark Wilson just has to settle down a little bit. I think he's coming off his wide receivers just a little too quick. I think he's leaving them, and the Cowboy defensive backs are giving him a little cushion. If he stays with his wide receivers a little longer, if he has the time, I think they'll have some success throwing wide.
First down Raiders, their own 46-yard line. They trail 17-10. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Hawkins. Frank Hawkins sprints out over midfield. He's close to a first down at the Cowboys' 44-yard line, taken by Bob Brunig. And Septian perhaps having his best year, which really carries over to last year. He made the saving tackle. Watch Brunig.
Playing off a block. Michael Downs comes up. Number 26 hits him, bounces off. Brunig comes over.
Yeah, but you don't like those inside backers making tackles 10 yards downfield.
Well, that's right. If he's going to make it, he's supposed to close it off a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
Hawkins close enough for the first down. We'll get the measurement. Hawkins has been performing well in relief both of Kenny King and Marcus Allen this year. 3rd-year man out of University of Nevada at Reno. You see how much we will be short. You saw that with our reverse angle camera. 2nd down and inches for the Raiders. A waste down.
Boy, it's going to be wasted.
That's a fair catch. That one thrown up to Cliff Branch. Not a well-advised pass at all. He was double covered. Back there was Clinkscale along with Dennis Thurman, and that one could have been picked off quite easily.
You know, it really could have. You almost look at a play like this, and Thurman, either one of them could have gotten
it. It was anybody's ball.
But they did a smart thing and knocked that thing away.
That's a good disciplined role on the part of both of them. They did not want to risk going for the interception, have a deflection, and have it turn into an easy touchdown.
Knock that ball away.
Well, you got a good look at the Raider philosophy on offense. They're not a team to try to establish a running game or a passing game. They're a big play team, so adversity really doesn't bother them. They don't need consistency, but they are consistent about getting in the end zone, and Harvey Martin looked like he lined up offside, and I don't think it's going to make a difference.
He's run down quickly by Michael Downs. The flag is down.
But I think Harvey Martin just lined up offside. They line up in that short yardage defense with their both hands down and their heads low.
79 defense encroachment.
We got it.
Refused.
And his head was just over the line of scrimmage.
And as it so often happens on short yardage defense, when you pop it, you're going to get a lot of yardage out of them because everyone is up on that line of scrimmage.
There just was nobody there. Man, good block. Good blocking all up and down that line. Good block by Derek Jensen, the tight end. Kind of forced that, seal it off to the inside.
Here it is. You see his head is at the bottom of your screen, 79. You see his head is in that area that's not supposed to be in.
One step over the line, old Harvey. One step over the line.
First down at the 13-yard line. The Raiders trailing 17-10. Threatening. Frank Hawkins. Single set back to the Raiders. Looking for Cliff Branch in the corner of the end zone, out of bounds.
He made that catch, though, did he? What a nice catch.
Everson Walls had him covered well, however, and Mark Wilson had to throw it out of bounds.
That was actually true. They just had him covered, and Mark couldn't get rid of it. An amazing average per catch that he has.
And another flag down.
This is just an outstanding catch. Too bad it wasn't for a touchdown because he made the effort, kept his concentration.
And this assessment being marked off against the Raiders.
Illegal use of the hands, number 65 offense. Hands to the head, illegal.
So the Raiders now are backed up 10. Down remains the same. That's going to put a little bit of a...
Actually, it may be better for him. They have more room to pass in.
Dimmer on a great run by Frank Hawkins, his longest of his career. First and 20. Hawkins again. Another big opening. This time he'll get it in.
Yes, yes.
Frank Hawkins, left side, and now we understand why Harvey Martin perhaps is lining up as tight as he is, Deuce. Bruce Davis on that left side and Charlie Hanna are doing a number on them.
Well, they're pinning him inside, and Marcus Allen's hitting the first man that shows on the outside, and Hawkins doesn't have much decision to make here. They pin him inside. Marcus Allen goes out and make the block.
Double team. Bruce Davis and Charlie Hanna rode Randy White, the all-pro tackle, out of it for Dallas. Hawkins broke behind it. Touchdown. That's what the Raiders do so well. They're so big, they're strong. Davis is 280, Hanna's 260. Marvin on one side is 265, Lawrence 270. They're big and they love to push you around.
And Marcus Allen is possibly the best blocking halfback in football. But he played fullback a few years ago in college.
Chris Barr for the conversion. And Chris Barr ties it up at 17.
Lighted the crowd a little bit, didn't it?
Take a look at that left side of the line. Randy White will be isolated, and watch the block by Bruce Davis and Charlie Hanna. And he was slanting in their direction, and they took him on.
You've also got Harvey Martin is all tied up in the middle, so it's as much on Harvey. Oh, Randy couldn't get to the outside, so combination. They had Harvey pinned in there, and Randy couldn't get back.
So the Raiders, with a good defensive effort a few moments ago, have turned it around. They are now tied at 17. Frank Gifford, O.J. Simpson, Don Meredith watching the Raiders and the Cowboys. They're tied at 17. Chris Barr hammers one high. Rod Hill takes it at the 3. And Rod Hill works his way out to the 23-yard line. First down, Cowboys. Cowboys now tied at 17. First down. Ball just inside the 24-yard line. Ron Springs, single set back for Dallas. Danny White dumps it off to Springs. Springs avoids a tackle, works his way to the 30-yard line for a gain of 7.
Oh, yes, is that pretty.
That's after watching that Washington game today and the Baltimore game. They were playing in a downpour. We have had beautiful weather here in Dallas.
Now, Ron Springs, to me, he's visually sort of imposing. He sort of throws you off. He looks like he weighs 190 pounds or something, and he weighs 218, 220 pounds. I think he surprises a lot of defensive backs with that size and strength of his.
He got 7. 2nd down and 3 for Dallas. Springs once again up close to the first down. I think he has it. 8:42. The clock is ticking away here in the first half. Ron Springs has developed into a full football player too. He didn't like it when they moved him to around in the first year that he was here.
And Timmy Newsom had the same problem. They put Timmy up there behind Dorsett. He said, wait a minute, I'm not going to play behind that guy. And he's now getting worse. Well, that's okay. It's not so bad.
And they both become big contributors.
Go get him, Howie!
First down, Dallas. Ball at their own 34-yard line.
Open middle.
White.
Over. Whoa.
High pass was taken by Drew Pearson. He'll have a first down in Raider territory. As Danny White waited, and threw it a little high, but he was under tremendous pressure, and he took quite a shot after he delivered it to Pearson.
It was a slow developing pass pattern, but he did have 2 receivers open, both of them down the middle. Had Pearson coming a little bit further to the outside. You see Lester Hayes is man-to-man in there, but you'll see Drew come a little bit to the inside. The old turn in. This ball, he did have to go up and get that. Great concentration. You'll see Tony Hill, number 80, he was also open over in the middle. Let's see what kind of pressure Danny got. That's Huey Long coming in there. That's
Big
Matt
Howie
Miller.
Long.
Howie Long, excuse me. Huey was the governor, wasn't he? Forgot about that.
46-yard line of the Raiders. Tony Dorsett skipping, looking. That's tough against the Raiders because they are a swarming, pursuing defense, and Dorsett gets zilch. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Archie Reese, the nose tackle, there defensively first for the Raiders.
Big Archie, he's a good guy. Played with him 1 year with the 49ers. I thought for a while last year, the 49ers, one of their major problems was they missed his leadership on defense. Come to the Raiders and done a good job for him.
Doug Donnelly, the speedster from Ohio State, who we did not think we'd see tonight, is in the lineup. A wide receiver, bottom of your screen for Dallas. Drew Pearson at the top, 2nd down and 11. And White drops.
He's got him.
Wide open is Donnelly.
Oh, yes.
And he holds on at the 20-yard line. A great catch because he knew he was going to be hammered.
Good timing pattern, too. That was a really well-thrown ball.
Take the ground look level here.
Quick
Lester
inside.
Hayes, one of the best in the business. They're picking on him a little tonight.
Now he's getting help from the inside from McElroy, but McElroy didn't get there quickly enough.
What good concentration and a good catch there.
I think in the films that'll break down as McElroy not covering quickly enough for Lester Hayes, who was playing Donnelly outside and playing him a little short.
Well, they call that sort of a tough zone. It's actually a sort of a zone, but you play your man tough if no one comes into your area.
First down, 20-yard line. The Cowboys tied at 17 with the Raiders. Inside 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Cosby works for about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Once again, remind you, halftime, we're going to have an expanded ABC News brief. Peter Jennings, who has spent so much of his life in the Middle East, lived in Beirut, Lebanon, where that tragic happening took place today, will be filing that report from New York. We'll also have a report on the running of the New York Marathon. So be with us at halftime.
That was Cosby's first reception tonight. And he's been kind of the mainstay, the main cog down here, keeping the double coverage. If they double couple the outside, they're going to throw to Cosby down the middle.
Had a big game, did Cosby, last week against Philadelphia. 6 receptions as Dallas walked all over the Eagles. Danny White was not sacked one time in 37 attempts a week ago.
What?
Tried to go to Cosby. Incomplete.
Howie Long and Paz Derrick are getting into it down there. It's fun to watch those big guys in the line because they are all big and they play this game very well.
I hope they never do it, but someday if you can invent a little camera with the sound apparatus, put it on one of those dudes, you would hear the wildest discussion of ancestry and the loudest hits you've ever heard.
Well, it couldn't go over network TV. It'd have to be cable.
Oh, well,
And
it's
even
life and it happens.
selective cable.
Yes.
And the ground just shakes. 3rd down and 5. Shotgun. A lot of movement, no flags. Danny White looking to the end zone.
All right.
And
What a
Butch
good throw
Johnson
again.
does it for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm very impressed with that type of play. That thing, you don't have long to think about it. Total reaction. Butch Johnson's done a lot of nice things for him down here, the big play guy. Look at all these black jerseys getting real close. Zip, get rid of that ball.
Oh, so many years he's been doing this, coming off the bench, really. And
He wants to.
he started to give it the earthquake shuffle, as he calls it. Tom Landry's told him not to do it, but that's his first touchdown of the season. And he is an excitable, very emotional player. And a good one.
Want to know he hadn't forgot about his California quake.
Septien for the conversion. Through the uprights, and Dallas has recaptured the lead once again.
I see it, Butch. I'm on Butch.
Look at
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, he's had some big catches already this year. He set up the overtime winning field goal against Tampa Bay.
You're
He
pretty.
just seems to get open. Back at Texas Stadium. Touchdown pass. Danny White, 15 yards. Butch Johnson. Cowboys set to kick off at 5:27 remaining in the half. Greg Pruitt. And Pruitt out over the 20 to the 23. The first man there was Mike Walter. Take a look at Tom Landry. He, of course, has called this play to Butch Johnson.
Easy. Tom.
Violent display of emotion.
That was Tom's interpretation of Butch Johnson's California quake.
Yeah, the California trimmer.
That's it. You think we got another one of these first to 50s going to win tonight?
I don't know. Maybe we got another pinball machine going.
First team to 50.
I know I'm not going to add up the score. Did I take some heat from that from my buddies?
We only missed it by 10.
First down and 10, the Raiders. The ball at their own 23-yard line. Deflection, and Clinkscale cannot hold on in a diving effort. Mark Wilson, he has had a busy week. O.J. talked about it earlier, the new contract, the things that are developing so rapidly now between NFL players and USFL owners, I guess is the only way to put it, because the NFL players are aware that it's out there, and he is a direct result of whether he was approached or not approached by apparently USFL teams. Al Davis decided he wants him around. His other quarterback is up there in years, so he kept Mark Wilson with a big contract just a couple of nights ago. Has to be distracting. Second down and 10. Todd Christensen out over the 35 to the 37, first down Raiders.
Todd certainly has fit into that Oakland Raider offensive formation. So let's see. Bob Brudick trying to cover this tight end. You just missed him there, and he couldn't even hold him. Todd Christensen, as most of you probably know, was a Dallas Cowboy, drafted number 2 here as a running back. They wanted to move him to tight end. He didn't want to go.
At his best day of his career last week in a losing effort against Seattle, he caught 11 passes.
3 touchdowns.
Mark Wilson fires to Barnwell. Barnwell steps out of bounds at the 44-yard line, stopping the clock with 4:28 remaining in the half.
You get a feeling just sitting here that anything can happen tonight. You know something's going to happen. They're going to move that ball up and down the field. Fun teams to watch play. Maybe that's why they're the winningest teams in football.
It's an electric feeling you get when you watch great players perform. Even though they battle and butt heads out there throughout the course of the game, you know that the Branches, the Tony Hills, the Dorsetts, the Marcus Allens, they can break it open at any moment. Second down and short for the Raiders. Wide open is Branch. in front of Dennis Thurman, who once again was respecting what used to be 9.2 speed on the part of Cliff Branch. Watch Dennis Thurman. Hey, buddy, you're not going to get behind me.
Well, Mark Wilson, for the first time, really stayed with his outside receiver, and they're giving him so much cushion out there that I think he can have a lot of success today if he just settles down and try to hit those wide receivers on those deep turn-ins and turn-outs.
44-yard line of Dallas. The Raiders coming right back. Hawkins in motion. This is Marcus Allen. And big John Dutton, 6'7", 275, takes Allen in pursuit.
Made good move down that line of scrimmage, did he? That's good lateral pursuit.
Take a look at how it has gone on this Sunday afternoon. Atlanta over the Jets. Atlanta coming way back. New England over Buffalo, and then Cincinnati over Cleveland. Some more scores. Washington rolling along. Minnesota in overtime. Chicago beats Philadelphia. There's another overtime win. Kansas City. Miami over Baltimore. And Pittsburgh took Seattle in the thriller. Gain of about a yard for Allen. Is second down and 9.
Oh, yeah.
Barnwell offside.
That was a good example of an inexperienced quarterback. You saw Dallas change their defense. They went up, faked that blitzing sort of defense, came back into double coverage. Mark Wilson saw it, says, I've got an audible for this. And Barnwell says, wait a minute, make up your mind, guy. I was supposed to go on 2.
Smart enough to try to get back.
That's right.
But he made contact, so I don't think he could have come back.
He said, I thought the snap count was 2. I know I've been out here for about 10 seconds.
I just hope he was the intended receiver. Some more scores for you. How about that one?
That was a good ball game. I saw most of that. With the Niners and the Rams.
I got a new all-universe for you, though.
You do?
Anthony Dickerson.
Oh, he is terrific. SMU got
almost as good as they can get. SMU.
Boy, I tell you, SMU and Texas had a heck of a ball game here yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to erase me from the books, I'm afraid.
It's about time. You're getting old.
Second down, 15, following the penalty. Trouble for Wilson. Dumped it off, no flags, but he was just anxious to get rid of it. I was talking about Eric Dickerson, of course. We're watching Anthony Dickerson, who is also SMU, performing tonight. Eric Dickerson did things that no human being should be able to do today.
Like that guy right there. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, when you get that much talent, that much size, that much speed, a coach like John Robinson who knows how to run the football, you saw what he did for Marcus Allen his senior year, 2,300 yards. Hard to stop it. It all adds up to records and wins.
Wilson is 8 of 15, 90 yards. He has 1 touchdown. He looks over third down and long. 3:30 remaining in the half. Wilson has the time. He finds Christensen. Christensen spots the first down marker and steps right over it.
Well, that was a wonderful throw by Mark. Maybe the best one I've seen him throw tonight. He had that one right on the old clothesline. Didn't have a lot of room to throw and had some pressure back there.
Well, the Raiders don't have what you call your classic possession receiver. The closest person to it is Mark Christensen. It's generally unusual to use that. Todd Christensen is generally unusual to use your tight end as your possession receiver. Normally you have one guy outside.
Dexter Clinkscale was pretty good defensive coverage there, but still ball was complete.
First down at the 33-yard line. Calvin Muhammad in wide receiver now for the Raiders, number 82. As Wilson sends Marcus Allen left side for a pickup of a couple, and Marcus Allen obviously felt that he should have had more.
Michael Downs does such a good job. One of the team leaders in tackles. He's everywhere. One of those free agents that they kind of brought in. Get out of Rice, hometown boys. We've told you many times, but he does do a terrific job. That time at the line of scrimmage and made that tackle.
I tell you, if I was Marcus Allen, I'd go to the sidelines and tell the coach, don't run on first down. Don't run. Give me the ball on second or third down, because the Cowboys normally play a run defense on first down, and they haven't had much success running on first down.
Second down and 8. Wilson is back.
He's got Wilson. He's got Christensen.
Christensen semi-open in the end zone. Mark Wilson not quite enough touch. Incomplete. It'll be third down now and 8.
Cliff Branch, we're told, is being administered to there on the sideline. What'd that be? Muscle
He's
cramp?
had pulled hamstring, Don. It goes back 3 weeks to the Washington game, and he pulled it on that 99-yard touchdown pass.
saw that.
And still ran it all the way. He's having a little problem tonight, though. He's trying to make a return to the lineup, and I don't think that leg is quite right.
3rd and 8, 10th play of the Raiders' drive.
Got to have your wheels, haven't you?
They've got to be able to run.
Dallas thinking pass. They have the 5th defensive back in there. Movement by Dallas. Flags are down. Wilson will also be down by Anthony Dickerson.
Well, Calvin Mohammed did a little jig in there for a minute. He may have pulled him offside. We'll have to wait and see.
So many of the Cowboys went off that could have been exactly what it was. Smerrick was the first one to move, but they almost moved in unison, and when that happens, it usually indicates that they've been drawn off.
Maybe they didn't see it. He was outside there.
But I see him setting up their huddle up there fairly close, the Raiders, so maybe they know something too. Bates was the guy that came in and made the hit on him. Bates, I like Bates. He is really fun to watch.
Yeah. There was a false start. I believe Mickey Marvin. I'm going to spin Gene Barth around here and get him aimed in the right direction for you. And he'll mark it off against the Raiders.
False start, number 60 offense. There was no option on the play. No option on the play. It was a false start. Third down.
That's all right, Gene. That's where all the rich folks have their boxes.
Not all of them. Have you seen some of them on this side, too?
Louis XIV furniture. Chandeliers hanging down. By the stadium. 3rd down, long 12. Wilson is a wide open field, and he'll get the first down.
Oh, good move, Mark.
Mark Wilson under tremendous pressure. Smerrick was in there. Harvey Martin was in there. He pulled it down, broke it inside the 20 to get the first down for the Raiders.
Well, that's one of the reasons the linemen for the Raiders wanted Mark Wilson to start earlier in the season. They felt he was much more mobile than Plunkett, and he would save them sacks. This is one time he did. Plunkett may have been sacked on that play.
That could have really come back, as they say, and we'll think about that one as the game goes along. Well, that was a 3rd down and long situation. Could have even been out of a field goal range.
So the Raiders keep it alive with 2:25 remaining in the half, and the score tied at 17. The ball marked inside the 17-yard line of Dallas. Cowboys leading 24-17, rather. Wilson, Frank Hawkins stepped right back in front of Anthony Dickerson. Touchdown, Raiders.
And I don't think that pass was planned to be short like that. It was a poor pass, and Hawkins made a great adjustment to the ball.
You can see Dickerson look back just at the wrong time. He says, oh, no, I should have checked it.
6-6, Mark Wilson. Dickerson playing it man for man, and Hawkins read it beautifully, came back to it, and the Raiders are within one, a conversion of tying it up once again.
That ball had been thrown properly. You're right. I don't think
he wouldn't have caught it.
Wouldn't have caught that.
Well, here's Chris Barr.
First to 50.
Well, there is still time on the 30-second clock, so we'll see what the penalty is. Offside Dallas. They must have made contact.
Looked like Tutal was a little antsy in the middle.
The nose guard on defense through the charge will penalize on the kickoff.
That's interesting. So Chris Barr with quarterback Mark Wilson handling the holding chores for the Raiders. Gets it down. Barr gets it up. We're tied up again at 24.
Well, let me take a shot at this one, Frank. 48 points in the first half.
That's good.
Good with far from over. 2:19 remaining in the first half. Frank Hawkins, I mentioned it a moment ago, he came up as a 10th round pick at 81 with just shattered all kinds of NCAA records at the University of Nevada at Reno. But he was short at 5'9", 210, not thought to be too fast, but He has done so much for the Raiders, filling in for Allen, for Kenny King, who's been hurt the past couple of weeks. Fine football player. That was a heads-up move he made against Anthony Dickerson to come back and get the Raiders score. Tom Flores, the old quarterback of the Raiders, watching his 5-2 Raiders go against the 7-0 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, of course, the only undefeated team in the NFL. And young Mark Wilson at the helm. Gary Allen is deep for the Cowboys, but this will be Ron Fellows. Look out, Bird. Fellows has found an opening. And Fellows finds a little gap on the right side. He explodes up close to midfield.
One of 3 players from the University of Missouri. And they call him Bird. They say he's just a little too slight.
Used to be a wide receiver, and he has the speed for a wide receiver.
Did a good job of starting towards the middle to get the pursuit to get into the middle, and then he broke back outside, find a little crevice, and he was just about to break it.
Cowboys first down and 10, close to midfield. The Cowboys with 2 timeouts. They'll get a clock stopped at the 2-minute warning. We have 2:07 remaining in the half. Cowboys from the shotgun. They want more points. Screen. Flag is down. And Dorsett taken out of bounds. Chased out of bounds by Rod Martin.
It was Archie Reese that played that play perfectly, number 74. He came towards the middle. He saw his linemen weren't trying to block him too aggressively, and he sort of stayed in the flow over there, and he read the screen perfectly.
Motion against Dallas. And there was a loss of about 3 yards, so I would presume the Raiders will decline the penalty. And we are also going to collect the 2-minute warning. Both benches being notified as if they did not look up and check out the clock. We'll be back with more action after this message from the National Football League. Stay with us. We've got a beauty. 1:59 remaining in the game. And would you believe this? We had a game last Monday, 48-47, Green Bay. And we have had more points scored here in the first half of this game than we did last week. So settle down, enjoy yourself, put your feet up. Got a couple of explosive ball clubs. Second down and 13. The Raiders decline the penalty. The Cowboys have the ball at their own 47-yard line. They have 2 timeouts. Danny White, wide open, is the tight end.
But I think Howie Long got a holding penalty. Howie's the best defensive lineman the Raiders have. He's had 15 holding penalties called, guys holding him this year, and he leads the team in sacks with 7. Matter of fact, he keeps that stat on the holding penalties against him.
So a first down is going to be negated. And keep in mind that Howie Long is working against Phil Paz-Derrick with Jim Cooper out of the lineup. Paz-Derrick has a tendency to hold a little bit.
And actually, they move Howie a line.
Holding, still 6 down.
Holding on Paz-Derrick.
They move Howie around a little bit. They move him inside when they really want a good pass rush, and he normally lines up outside in their 3-4 defense.
He supports a...
Right in the middle of your screen. You see Big Howie?
Howie supports a Boys Club type facility back in his neighborhood in the Boston area. And every time he gets a sack, he gives him $100. He will guarantee $1,000.
He could be broke the way this is going.
Second down and 22. I think that Tom Landry will be just a little careful at this point. Oh, Butch Johnson comes down with the football short of the first down, but an acrobatic catch at the 44-yard line of the Raiders. And there is no being careful in this game because apparently Tom Landry feels like we do. This is going to be a high scorer.
We've really seen Butch Johnson make some of the most unbelievable catches in the years of Monday Night Football. The ball, of course, has to be thrown pretty well to get there, but look at this catch. Well, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. That was a heck of a throw.
When you get that wide open.
That's still a good catch. Good throw.
Butch Johnson working against James Davis. It'll be 3rd down and 4. The ball at the Raiders' 44-yard line. Fired quickly, and this time Tony Hill has the first down, still on his feet.
Oh, Tony Hill.
And that's one of the reasons, and Drew Pearson is the other, that Butch Johnson has never become a starter here.
That T. Hill, they call him Thrill for a reason, don't they? Thrill Hill.
Well, they're over here working on Lester Hayes again. The Raiders are placing a lot of pressure on their cornerbacks to try to cover these receivers one-on-one. I think they're going to have to change their pass coverage later. Great move. Look at that. It was a very nice move.
Great ones make it look so easy.
Otis McKinney was the guy that finally tackled it. But a first down. Now, that was a big first down for him.
At the Raiders' 32-yard line, the clock is still moving, approaching 1 minute remaining in the half. The Cowboys with 2 timeouts. They're awfully good at using them. That one intended for Drew Pearson, incomplete.
Of course, we don't ever know. I think it was intended for Donnelly, who was coming across the line, and he got kind of tied in there. But let's see Pearson on this side, see what happens.
It looked like Donnelly was coming across, even though we're looking at Pearson here, and he got tied up with Rod Martin, and there he is. He had already got bumped off his
Ted Watts.
pass.
We were probably wrong. Ted Watts was the guy that the Cowboys fans are saying he interfered.
But I think the pass, you were right, the pass was for Donnelly.
No flag, 2nd down and 10. 57 seconds remaining. Clock, of course, stopped with the incompletion. Tony Hill, top of your screen, as the Cowboys employ 4 wide receivers. Danny White, Donnelly had to turn around, and that took a little edge off the great speed the youngster has. So now it will be 3rd down and 10, and on the sidelines, this man is having such a great year warming up. Raphael Septien. He's been remarkable. He's only missed 2 this year, but the most incredible thing is he has a string of 22 consecutive field goals from inside the 47.
This may be right about 47, 48 yards.
The ball resting at the 32-yard line. The score tied at 24-24. Seesaw battle. 52 seconds remaining in the half. Cowboys still with their 2 timeouts.
4 seconds are on the clock. 2-1.
They'll have to snap it, and the Cowboys get it off. Into a crowd, picked off.
Should be.
The deflection taken by Otis McKinney. And little rhubarb broke out again.
He wasn't too gentle on that tackle, was he?
No, he wasn't. Got some pressure back there. Denny may have thrown a ball that he wishes he had back. Otis McKinney seems to be shaken up a little bit.
He really buried him. The tight end who tackled him really buried him into the surface there.
Take a look at it again. Danny White, I think you agree, Don. He probably should not have thrown this. He was under tremendous pressure, tried to squeeze it in.
There's too many dark jerseys around there. Yeah.
Watch this tackle.
Yeah, the guy that intercepted was the guy that came in late.
Oh, right on the ball.
James Davis deflected the pass intended for Drew Pearson. It was intercepted by Otis McKinney. The Raiders had the ball at their 22-yard line. 44 seconds remain in the half. The Raiders, if they're interested, have 3 timeouts.
I've got a feeling they'll be interested.
They are. But let's be careful with it. And that pass caught by Frank Hawkins for a 3-yard pickup. So again, at halftime, a reminder, Peter Jennings reporting from New York on the crisis and the tragedy in Lebanon today. And, of course, we'll also be having a report on the New York Marathon. So stay with us at halftime. Now we have time out on the field. Mark Wilson comes over for instructions. A lot of action around the NFL today. Let's take a look at some of them. The Miami Dolphins being led by this man now in his 3rd start, the former Pitt All-American Dan Marino. This is action in the first quarter. No score. Marino fires and is complete to Nat Moore. And now the last play of the first quarter. Watch Marino again. And he's got that speedster. Even with Cephalo out of the lineup, Duriel Harris out of the lineup, they got Mark Duper. And that set up an Andra Franklin touchdown in the second quarter. They made it 14-0 Miami. And watch this one now. Dan Marino again to Mark Duper. And, well, a questionable call. I don't think it affected the outcome of the game, but this is Mark Duper once again. You got to come down with 2 feet in bounds in this game. And Mark Duper came down with 1. In any event, the final score, Miami over Baltimore 21-7. Frank Kush has got Baltimore playing good football everywhere but home.
Take this show on the road.
And we've got this kind of game, 24-24. The Raiders with 34 seconds on the clock. They have a 2nd down and 7. The Raiders now with 2 timeouts. Mark Wilson starting tonight in place of Jim Plunkett. A lot of pressure. Big fat contract in the pocket going against the undefeated Cowboys. And complete. And quickly the Raiders trying to call timeout as Mark Wilson was able to get it to wide receiver Calvin Muhammad. And the first down is out at the 42-yard line. And the Raiders call timeout. They're down to 1. And we'll pick up the action as it took place today at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Second quarter, 7-0. Cincinnati leading. Brian Sipe hits Ozzie Newsome. 5-yard touchdown. That tied it at 7. Third quarter action. It's tied at 14. Sipe, Newsome once again. That put Cleveland on top, 21-14. And let's pick it up in the fourth quarter now. It's 21-14 Cleveland. Kirk Schonert hands off to Charlie Alexander. 4-yard touchdown. That tied it at 21. What a football game it was. And with the score tied at 21, let's watch Brian Sipe once again. And you don't try to do it all in front of a wily old veteran like Ken Riley. Ken Riley taking it into the end zone, and Cincinnati defeats Cleveland, and that's a bitter rivalry, 28-21. That action earlier today. Meanwhile, Tom Flores has given last-second first-half instructions to Mark Wilson.
Ken Riley he's made some terrific plays in his career, hasn't he?
Tops in the game right now among active defenders.
Got to have it near 60. That's about 59 for him.
He's up there close. First down, Raiders. Ball at their own 42-yard line. Wilson, Todd Christensen's open.
Isn't that's pretty. That's the way to use that thing.
The Raiders now working down close to field goal territory. They got to get in fairly close with Chris Barr. There's Chris Barr now warming up on the sideline.
He just got really wide open. You got good time to throw again. We usually always start by saying that, but this Todd Christensen, Frank mentioned, caught 11 balls last week, 3 touchdowns. Somebody's got to hit him quick right there. Got to do a little bit more than that. That's Michael Downs trying to come back in there. Should have a little help somewhere in there. You got a short and a long coverage usually. O.J. was talking about a little earlier.
So Todd Christensen gets the Raiders a first down at the 30-yard line, and the 80s, nothing but a passing game. You got the new rules. It's so prohibitive for defensive backs. You got a guy, Michael Downs, covering Todd Christensen. But Michael Downs couldn't do anything after he got 5 yards down the field.
Well, all the new rules are made to get more points on the board. It does put a lot of pressure on the defensive secondary. I think one of the reasons you see so many defensive backs holding out. There's 3 defensive backs holding out that was supposed to be a part of that Mark Wilson deal to the USFL.
You know, I think what really shows up what's happening is that there was a record percentage of completion set a year ago at 56%. This year, through the first 7 games, the percentage of completions was right up close to 59%. That's a big increase. The game is a passing game today. On first down, 18 seconds remaining. And Mark Wilson very wisely drilled that into the ground as Todd Christensen was picked up and covered well. Raiders stop the clock with no timeouts. They have 14 seconds.
Well, I think they're reaching the point. If they complete a pass, it has to be in the end zone.
Or somebody will have to get out of bounds and stop the clock, or they will not be able to get a field goal unit out on the field.
This would, looking at that yardage there in the first half, you got to think somebody's not playing much defense. Are the offense is that good?
Well, we went over 1,000 yards up in Green Bay last week. Green Bay and Washington. 2nd and 10.
You know, I really
Wilson under pressure.
I think it's a combination of you got good offenses and good defenses, but in professional football, usually the games kind of wind up being the kind of game that people want to see. Well, at least right now, people want to see a lot of scoring. And so it's Chris Barr time here tonight.
And it was interesting. Mark Wilson, on third down, looked over to Tom Flores, indicated he wanted to kick. I don't think Tom Flores was going to put Barr out there with 9 seconds remaining. Maybe looking to get in a little closer for Chris Barr. He's 6 of 10 on the year. His best for the year, 42 yards. He's had misses now from 26, 36, and from 41 yards this year. He's not having a good year. This will be a 48-yard attempt. It's a fake. Man is open,
Not by
but
much.
Wilson was under pressure.
Oh, they called interference.
And pass interference, 3 seconds remaining.
Anthony Dickerson.
Don Hasselback, intended receiver. Wilson under pressure. Hasselback deep downfield, interfered with, and the Raiders will have 3 seconds. And boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be a tough decision.
Defensive pass interference. 51 will run an untimed down.
Far be it from me to get into any kind of pass interference, because I don't know, but we'll look at it again.
There was no chance for him to catch this ball.
That's what I was going to say. I thought a ball had to be catchable.
Well, maybe if he could have started back. No, I think there was no chance for him to catch that ball.
Now the question is, the Raiders have the ball at the 1-yard line. Score is tied, but they have no timeouts. And they are going to go for the 6 points.
I love it. That's the way to play football.
So they are sacrificing a sure go-ahead 3 points here at halftime, looking for 7.
I like that kind of football.
A rollout to give Mark Wilson an option. Drills it into the end zone. And it's Todd Christensen. That's his 4th touchdown thus far in 2 games.
And look at Mark Wilson. He said, you bet. I'm worth a little bit more.
Well, you call it, Frank. You said that Flores didn't appear to have much confidence in Barr from 48 yards, and he didn't. And I don't think he had planned for it to turn out quite this way, but you got 6 points and possibly 7 coming up.
You saw a guy turn around in there like he's lost. Angelo King. He's a linebacker that comes in, doesn't play a lot. He did get lost. That was his man.
Another thing you can do with Mark Wilson, Don, I think, and you, O.J., I think Wilson had an option on that. If he didn't have a receiver,
that's right,
he could run it in.
Popular play down on the goal line.
Chris Barr for the conversion, and the Raiders have moved the ball the length of the field, and they have taken a halftime lead. 31-24. Time had expired on the touchdown pass. Mark Wilson to Todd Christensen. And let's take a look at the youngster's reaction. As he looks back and finds Christensen. He said, all right, I did it.
That's right.
Happy to have the chance to begin to earn some of that $4 million.
That's the truth.
Reputed $4 million.
We'll look it up, but I doubt if anybody's ever scored 31 points on Dallas in the first half. We'll have to check on that.
We'll be ready for our halftime feature, so stay with us. Right after this message, and then a word from our local stations. The bells are spinning, and the score is really rolling along. 55 points scored in the first half. This is history in the NFL. Packers, the Bucks had 56. Now, those next 3 games, the Raiders, the Cowboys, 49ers, the Vikings, Packers, and the Redskins, those have all been right here on ABC.
Must be the moon made them do it.
Yeah. The moon made them do it. 2 of the NFL's toughest defensive teams. The Raiders are number 1 in the NFL. They've allowed 24. Cowboys are 4th. They've allowed 31, and here comes the Raiders. Lee Montgomery has an opening on the outside. It's been this way all night in case you joined us late. An offensive show to say the least, and it's a game in which Tony Dorsett, the brilliant running back for the Cowboys, has only gained 16 yards. Meanwhile, Marcus Allen has only gained 23. They have not been major factors. Raiders hurt by turnovers in the first quarter. The Cowboys capitalizing on the first 3 turnovers. They got 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Those are your halftime statistics. And we'll pick up the live action. The Raiders first and 10 the ball near their own 42-yard line. The quarterback, of course, remains Mark Wilson. This is Hawkins. And Hawkins in a sprint to the outside will get about 6 yards up close to the 48-yard line. Hank Hawkins, a definite factor in this game in the first half, as he has been for the past couple of weeks, filling in for an injured Kenny King.
Dallas may have done some patchwork in that first half, but they didn't do much on the kick returns or that first down run, did they? So let's see what else they did.
Raiders, a very physical team. Cowboys, more of a finesse team. Cowboys, the NFL establishment, the Raiders, the Rebels. And it's generated a lot of excitement here in Dallas. Hawkins again, right side. He'll be short of the first down. He's in Dallas territory near the 49-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and very short now for the Raiders. Raiders won their first 4 games of the season. Then they lost 2 of their last 3 by a combined point total of 4. Dallas, of course, undefeated. They have come back to win in each and every game they have played. 7 of them. They're 7-0 in the season. But they have trailed by big scores. They even trailed last week at one point early against Philadelphia when they come back to win that game 37-7. It's 3rd down and inches. Two tight ends are in. Jensen, Hasselbeck, Christensen. And on 3rd and inches, Mark Wilson. And a good defensive play, Everson Walls against Marcus Allen, and the gamble by the Raiders, 3rd and inches, will force the punting unit on the field.
Kind of like that attitude. I think that's a good gamble because you're 7 points up right now. You get the opening kickoff the second quarter. You want to put some more points up there.
Yeah, Mark was a little slow getting the pass to Marcus. I sort of feel if you're going to gamble on that, you should be willing to gamble on 4th down, to get those few inches.
Well, maybe so.
In the reverse ankle, you see the terrific play by Walls to avoid the pass interference and still deflect the ball. 4th down, Ray Guy is on. Deep is Rod Hill. There's Rod. He is going to guess with Ray Guy, who will probably look for the corner. He's kicked a high towering punt that'll carry into the end zone. I don't think that's what Ray Guy wanted because he will only gain about 24 yards out of that on a 49-yard effort. As the Cowboys get the touchback, they'll have a 1st and 10, first possession at their own 20-yard line, and the crowd begins to roar.
I used to always get a kick out of going into the halftime and listening to what the Cowboy coaches have put together. And almost invariably, they'll come back with something they see that they didn't expect in the first part of the game. You see the Cowboys then will come out and see how well they can make these adjustments. But that halftime was always interesting. They get up there, strictly business.
They've won so many games coming back, they make good adjustments.
Big second-half team, the Cowboys,
Good
particularly this year.
Good coaching staff.
Dorsett. And Dorsett, big opening left side. He explodes out over the 25 to the 27 for a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Of course, we did that first comeback win by Dallas, 23-3 at halftime. Little Dougie Kennedy dropped into the booth and was gloating over the Redskins' victory. And, of course, tears were to follow later that night. Washington is for real. Played without a lot of people today and destroyed Detroit. It's 2nd down and 4. Cosby in motion. On Springs, he's held short of the 1st down, so it's going to be 3rd down and short yardage now for Dallas.
I don't know what the statistic is, but I don't think the Cowboys have done too well on 3rd down tonight.
And you're the #1 defensive team in the NFL. There have not been too many teams that have done well against you on 3rd down. Raiders are tough. They move a lot of people around. They play 5 defensive linemen. Greg Townsend and Pickell joining the front 3 in passing situations, and they all play well.
As the conversion's 5 out of 11, I guess that's all right in the NFL today.
You bet. That's the respect the Cowboys have. They go to the air on 3rd down and a long one, and Cosby.
Ted Hendricks almost had that one picked off.
He'll be talking to himself on film tomorrow.
He was reading that thing all the way across. It seemed like the play developed a little slowly to me.
So immediately, both teams come out. First possessions, they're forced to punt. And Danny White, you weren't with us earlier, has replaced John Warren, who has a sore knee and was not effective in the first half. Danny White back to the chores that he has done so usefully for the Cowboys over the years. And here's Greg Pruitt. Now, he set up a couple of scores in the first quarter for the Raiders. He had a 34-yard return and a 15-yard return. Greg Pruitt, very intelligent runner. White trying to keep it away from Pruitt, and it goes off the side of his foot, and the Raiders are going to have great field position. And I'm sure that Danny White probably practices a little bit during the week on punting, has not done all that much work with John Warren having kicked in the first 7 games. That effort, 25 yards. The Raiders will be at their own 46. Raiders, 1st and 10, good field position, their own 46-yard line. They have scored on 5 of their last 7 possessions. Their opening possession here in the first half, however, they had to punt. Mark Wilson being chased by Anthony Dickerson. Fires in and out of the hands of Frank Hawkins, and I think Wilson had a little too much on that, but he was feeling the hot breath from Ed Jones and Anthony Dickerson.
Might have been the best example of what you were talking about earlier, him rolling out.
That's what I was saying. This is one of the reasons they chose to go with him this week instead of Plunkett. He's a little more mobile, and over the last few weeks, this may have been a sack if Plunkett was back there.
Could have been.
2nd down and 10. Pressure from Dickerson and Ed Jones.
His young legs have a way of moving a little quicker.
Dokie Williams, a speedster rookie from UCLA, is in the lineup, but this is Marcus Allen. Stays on his feet. Good running for Allen as he gets over midfield. Pickup of about 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Well, Marcus was a little fired up just then. As I said earlier, Dallas plays strictly run defense on 1st down normally, and most backs would prefer to run the ball on 2nd or 3rd down because he generally has a better chance of running the ball or getting yards. The linebackers are thinking about getting to their passing responsibility.
Cowboys thinking pass. They bring in their 5th defensive back, 6th defensive back, and out comes middle linebacker Brunig and John Dutton. And Bill Bates is there to tackle Marcus Allen, but he has the 1st down yardage.
And that may have been the best pass Mark Wilson has thrown tonight.
May have been the best job of his offensive line has done of keeping him off, too. Look at how much time he has to throw.
Marcus is now coming across the middle, and he's covered just about as well as you can cover a back. The ball is thrown perfectly, and Marcus has great hands.
There's old Bill Bates.
Raiders have a 7-point lead, 31-24. They're driving once again. 1st down and 10 inside the Cowboys' 43-yard line. Greg Pruitt in the lineup, number 34. That's Greg in motion. And this is Hawkins.
Good move.
Good move by Hawkins. And he'll have another 1st down inside the 30. And Hawkins is putting on a show tonight.
They split the hole that time. That defensive people running everywhere, blitzing safeties, linebackers.
Well, Hawkins, you got these tall defensive linemen he's playing against. He's only 5'9". He's just ducking under these guys. And
Brunig overran it. You see right there, Bob was supposed to be king back there trying to get to the outside. He cut back behind it.
Well, when you're 5'9", 210 pounds, didn't leave much surface to tackle.
And you're working down there around the knees of somebody like Ed Jones. 1st and 10. Ball inside the 29-yard line. Here comes a reverse, or a fake reverse. Mark Wilson looking into the end zone, and Dallas not fooled at all. The intended receiver going deep, Greg Pruitt. Deep back there, Anthony Dickerson and Dennis Thurman.
Thurman had that one all the way. He was just saying, please throw that one a little bit short, and I'm going to pick it off.
From the reverse angle, you really see it.
Greg Pruitt was
Greg's there fighting for the ball.
Good coverage, wasn't it?
Good USC man, Dennis Thurman on him.
Yeah, he and Dennis and Rob Martin were teammates there at USC.
Raiders balancing their attack. 137 yards rushing, 175 passing. The turnover has hurt them dearly tonight. Marcus Allen. Allen in the sprint to the sideline, short of the 1st down. A gain of about 5 as Michael Downs takes Allen out of bounds.
Well, even though I said Marcus would prefer to have the ball on 2nd or 3rd down, Dallas is not easy to run against on any down.
You've noticed that.
I've noticed that. I played against him. I noticed it when I played him.
They've marked it now inside the 23, so it's going to be 3rd and a long 5, which is a definite passing situation for the Raiders. Dokie Williams, the rookie from UCLA, a speedster, number 85, split to the bottom of your screen, along with Malcolm Barnwell. Allen is open, and he holds on. He took a tremendous shot, but he held on for 1st down yardage, and a flag is down.
Flag dropped late. He just threw it real high on the ground.
It was Bates and Clinkscale who were covering Allen, who really was concentrating because he knew he was going to be hammered.
It seems to me that they're just getting a lot more time to throw this 2nd half. The 1st quarter in particular, Wilson didn't seem to have much time at all. But, boy, they're doing a good job, that big old offensive line.
Defensive holding, number 26, penalty refused, 1st down.
But it also appears that Dallas was blitzing a little more in the 1st half.
That's true.
Michael Downs was the guilty Cowboy. It mattered not because the Raiders had the 1st down on this pass.
Always going to get 2 guys on Randy White in the middle. You saw that protection. That's not a big surprise. Dutton is usually the guy they try to single cover.
Raiders looking to expand their lead here in the 3rd quarter. Raiders over the Cowboys, 31-24. Hawkins just pulling behind big Dave Dalby, Ricky Marvin, Charlie Hanna. Gets yardage down to about the 11-yard line, 4-yard pickup.
When you do run on 1st down, they can pick up that 4 or 5 yards that he picked up that time. That does really changed the philosophy of Dallas' defense, because you're talking about they really are designed to stop that run on the first down.
And when you beat them at it,
you're going to beat them.
The name of this game is first down. Get 4 yards or more on first down.
Barnwell and Doke Williams split to the right. Todd Christensen, the tight end, is to Mark Wilson's left. Again, Wilson with a lot of time. Dennis Thurman frantically going for the football, which was deflected by Mike Hagman. It's incomplete. It will be 3rd down and 6.
I don't know if it's the Raiders' game plan, but it seems that Mark is throwing an awful lot over the middle. He's thrown about 2 or 3 passes deep outside, or what I call deep 15, 16-yard outs. Other than that, virtually every pass is down the middle. Sort of dangerous.
The ball just inside the 11. 9 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Wilson on the night has been effective on 3rd down. He's 4 of 5. Looks over at 3rd and 6. Blitz is on. Whoa! Picked off is Ed Jones. And Wilson tried to get that out in the flat. Ed Jones had dropped off the line of scrimmage. He is 6'9". Wilson could not get it over Ed Jones. That was another ill-advised pass.
Yes, what happened there, the linebackers came Dickerson blitz. His normal responsibility would have been Marcus Allen, but they had him blitzing, and they had Too Tall Jones playing what we call spy. He just fell out there. He figured that he can cover him for a short period of time, and he was able to do it.
Great hands.
Yeah, and he runs like he boxes.
Great hands. Swift, watch this move. Look at that one.
He runs like he boxes.
Gotta love it.
Right.
First down, Dallas. The Raiders turn back. They have the ball at their own 24-yard line.
Anthony Dickerson, 51. Klingskill, 47. He's just trying to lob it over their head, and there's Too Tall. Ran a great route.
He did.
He ran a great route.
He attacked the ball. That's what they teach those linemen.
And he put the ball away. Now, that's another thing. When you catch that ball, put it away. Way to go, Big Ed.
39 years of experience in that defensive unit for the Cowboys, and now the Cowboys are going to have to quiet their own crowd. They've been on their feet for a full minute.
That might be a good sign for the
First
Cowboys.
and 10, Dallas. Near their own 24. Danny White looking for Tony Hill, and a great catch by Hill.
I can't believe he caught that ball. Watts was all over him. Ball was inside a little bit. Good catch, Keith. He is different, isn't he? They've missed him out. He's been out. Hasn't played much this year. Nothing terribly fancy, except there's that quickness, turn around, make his move. Gosh,
what a great catch.
Gifford used to do that.
I'll tell you, you catch it backhanded, it's not easy.
Gifford did that. Did you ever see Frank? You were too young to watch Frank play.
Much too young. I don't know if I was around then.
Right.
First down, Dallas. 39-yard line. Never heard a crowd like this in Texas Stadium.
Well, they're going to
Danny White off Donnelly, and in a race for the ball, they came out all even, and hustling back there defensively was Van McElroy, who has filled in so well this year for retired Burgess Owens.
Van McElroy did do a good job. 2-year pro out of Baylor.
So that's why they're number 1 in defense. They played that combination inside and out beautifully. Watts knew he had McElroy inside, and they played it absolutely perfect.
It can be embarrassing when that safety don't get there, though. Hang you out to dry. McElroy is lucky to be here. You know, he had a big fight his rookie year with Marcus Allen in training camp, and he thought he'd be cut. But Al Davis liked that. He liked that aggressiveness, and he's been around, and he's a starter now.
Second down and 10. Dorsett. And Dorsett, I think there was a little bit of mix-up on that play, but Dorsett turns nothing into a 3-yard pickup.
Looked like they were going to fumble the handoff, didn't it?
Yeah, a little unintentional, let's say it's a little unintentional hesitation here. It worked out for the best. I think maybe the tackle was coming around, just didn't get there in time.
I wonder how Madden would draw that out with his electronic deal.
Well, we'd be here for a while.
Third down and 7. We're in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders over the Cowboys, 31-24. 7:34 remains here in the 3rd period. Danny White and Donnelly, I think, crossed up Danny White. Danny White looking for a fly. Donnelly broke it off underneath the Raiders, incomplete.
And Lyle Alzado was not going to give him enough time to change his mind, you know. Lyle was right there.
So Danny White remains on the field, having assumed or reassumed, if you will, the punting chores for Dallas in the second period.
I think that having Danny back there adds another dimension to their attack. We've seen him, even if he doesn't run or he doesn't throw, everybody knows he can do all those things.
And he's done it so often.
That's right.
Danny White doesn't get the spiral, but he got a pretty good punt, but Greg Pruitt bobbles once again. And he picks it up and falls forward to the 25-yard line. 42-yard effort by Danny White. No spiral, nothing. So the Raiders maintain their 7-point lead. 7:15 remaining in the third quarter. They'll have a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Time remaining in the third quarter. I don't think I've ever seen the crowd in Texas Stadium so fired up. Maybe for the Redskins. But they want the Raiders tonight, and they trail by 7. 1st and 10 Raiders. They're at their own 25. Hawkins, who's having a big night, out over the 30-yard line. He'll get 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Randy White has to make that kind of play. You got to get a little bit more support from the linebacker corps. They're running right straight up the middle. A little unusual for teams to try to do that, but they figure they've got, I guess, the big guys up front with Dalby and Hanna, Mickey Marvin. So they're going right straight at them.
3 wide receivers now. The Raiders. Top of your screen. Calvin Muhammad. Marcus Allen.
Oh, Marcus.
Hurdles over one man looking for 1st down yardage. He doesn't get it. It'll be 3rd down and about 2.
Well, actually, before the first half and the last time they had the ball, the Raiders have moved the ball effectively on the ground. They've gotten in trouble trying to pass. They lucked up in the first half by getting a pass interference penalty on the goal line there. But the last few times they've had the ball, they've been very effective running it.
I would suspect just to put Mark Wilson in a pass situation.
Yeah, I doubt they'll run it now.
3rd down, it's a pretty long 2 for him. Dallas is thinking pass, and they get it. Marcus Allen out of the backfield. He ran a good pattern. He'll get the 1st down out over the 45-yard line. This man can do a lot of things. He also will throw the ball. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes in the last 3 games.
But the ground, Marcus may have an option on this. He's rolling out of the backfield. He's got man-on-man coverage with Dickinson. Gives him a great head and shoulder outside. We don't see it here, but you'll see the results of it. Ball was thrown a little high, but Marcus has great hands and great instinct for the ball. Did a good job of catching it and coming down for the 1st down.
Raiders keep it alive. 1st down and 10. They're at their own 46-yard line as Jim Plunkett, the quarterback, the Raiders, through their first 7 games, looks on. That's Clee Montgomery in motion. Allen will throw the ball. And we could get pass interference. No, there was a collision between Everson Walls and wide receiver Dokie Williams.
It actually was a great pass, but Walls got position on the field. He had his position, and Dokie ran into him, and in that case, it certainly isn't a penalty on Walls. He was there first. You're looking at Dokie Williams from UCLA.
And he was jawing with the official. He wanted the interference call, and it was marginal. That was the field judge, Fritz Graff, shaking his head, no. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Watch Walls. He plays it perfectly, considering he got away with it.
Well, I don't think that's interference, but
he was there first.
Yeah, he had his position. That guy's got the same right the other guy has to catch the ball down there.
2nd down and 10. Wilson. Walls does not handle the ball.
And that's very unusual. He's got such great hands.
Well, Wilson's got a lot of confidence because his man wasn't open even when he threw the ball. I guess you have to believe they're going to get open. Sometimes that don't get the job done.
Well, Walls seldom drops it. He is contending to be the NFL's leading pass interceptor for the first time in history, 3 consecutive years. He had 11 in '81. He had 7 last year in the abbreviated season. And he has 4 interceptions thus far this season. That's 1 behind the NFC leader. 3rd down and 10 Raiders. Barnwell and Williams split to the left. Allen in motion.
There's that rollout. Didn't make it.
That's adios on the rollout as Anthony Dickinson, with great speed, dropped to the pass coverage and then came back and held Mark Wilson to a gain of 1.
And old Michael Downs was right in there to give him some help. Good defensive play.
Well, he did the right call. He rolled away from the pressure. They were rushing a cornerback from the other side, but I don't think he wanted to run the ball. He's looking for a receiver, and nobody was open.
Ray Guy is out, and Rod Hill is out, the #1 draft pick from Kentucky State of a year ago. He got to going sideways on Landry last week against Philadelphia, and I think he had a little talking to.
They called him East-West. So come on now, Hill. That's the North-South Hill stuff. East-West Hill.
Well, the Raiders have had field position this whole quarter, and they've done nothing with it. It may come back to haunt them.
Earlier, key interception by Ed Jones. Turned back the Raiders scoring drive. Ray Guy hits it high, doesn't turn over. Rod Hill takes a chance. And Rod Hill
He made a good little move there.
taking the chance.
Yeah.
Avoids the fair catch, and he gets 6 additional yards. The Cowboys will have a first down at their own 24-yard line. Danny White, to the roar of the crowd, brings them out. Did you tell him he could wear that number, O.J.?
He begged for it. I told him he can have it.
Well, did Jim Brown tell you you could wear it?
Yeah, well, Jim Ward, I just want to be half as good as him.
Dallas, first down and 10. They trail 31-24, 4:43 remaining in the third quarter. Here comes Tony Dorsett. And there goes Tony Dorsett. He's been shut off totally tonight. Rod Martin and Lyle Alzado have both done a tremendous job, as Dorsett has time and time again tried to go to the left with no effect.
He had Springs out in front trying to block on Martin, and he just couldn't get him down. He kept his feet, strung that play out, no place to go. Tony's not been able to break one, has he?
Well, they've been trying to run at Lyle Alzado. He's a pretty emotional player. I'm sure he took it personal. I'm sure he says, hey, you're going to try to run over here. Well, I'll teach you a lesson.
He was having a bad night a year ago against Minnesota when he broke one for 99 yards. Gain of a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Danny White trips as he pulls away from the center. He was probably stepped on. He bobbled the ball. Raiders are saying they have it.
And they do.
Got it.
I'll bet you he was stepped on pulling away from the center. The tippers once again flaring. So the Raiders now, they have good field position. They have a 7-point lead. They'd like to add to it. Watch from behind, see if he gets his foot stepped on.
A lot of times that happens with the center.
Yep, he pulled away clean. Right there, I think.
Yes.
There you got it. Bless his heart. That's
Kurt
Herb
Peterson.
Scott. 68, was it Herb Scott or was it Kurt Peterson?
Kurt Peterson caught his left foot. White went down, coughed it up. Raiders have it, 21-yard line. Crowd now urging the defense. Marcus Allen, good moves.
Oh, and some more moves. Good.
That's your Heisman Award winner.
Yeah, those are the things
You love it, don't you?
great back can give you. I love it. I
Isn't
tell
that
you.
fun?
I happen to be a
with a
good
great
friend of
run.
Marcus, but I'm a friend of all great running backs.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love to see a back who can do this on his own. Stop. This is totally improvisation.
Hagman missed. Came in as Downs that missed. That's just terrific. I know now why you let him wear that 32.
Yeah.
That was nice of you.
Raiders
don't remember
inside
me?
the 10. First down, goal to go. Hawkins, right side, and Hawkins just with that low center of gravity scratches out about 3.
We mentioned how Dorsett always fell forward. Hawkins at 5'9", he was hit solid there. Somehow he ended up falling, going upfield. The great backs always do it.
That might be a story right there, isn't it? I love graphs. They're so plain. That's it. They're blue and white. That's what they are.
And that running against the Dallas defense, rated second against the rush in the NFC. Mark Wilson, starting for the first time this year, rolling out. Out of bounds, incomplete. Calvin Muhammad.
Calvin Muhammad is really having a good game, even though he was out of bounds on that play. That was one excellent grab by him.
Looks like they got outside of Mike Hegman, number 58, little block. I think that was maybe even Marcus that made that block, was it? Good stretch. You're right. Got to come down with both of them. He didn't come down with either one of them inside.
Third down now, goal to go.
Big Lyle. Think he's ready? They call that intense.
For most anything, he's ready.
He's been a great inspiration to those two young pass rushers they have, Townsend and Pickell.
And Howie Long, too. Howie Long thinks Alzado's just terrific.
Third down, goal to go. The ball close to the 6-yard line. Christensen is in the corner of the end zone. Incomplete.
Another flag down there.
When you're blitzing that many guys and they're putting that much pressure on the quarterback, more than likely, you'll have a holding.
You got it, O.J. Holding, and I think it might work against Mickey Marvin. He was up there complaining.
They always complain, don't they?
So that'll change things, and quickly Tom Ford is bringing new people in.
65 offense, holding, penalty refused, 4th down.
Mickey Marvin. That brought up 4th down, and Dallas almost conceding now a field goal rather than take the holding penalty.
Oh, we saw him do a little fake field goal earlier. I doubt if they'll do that now because 10 points does make a difference.
Well, we say kickers are under a lot of pressure. If you know the emotion that's on this Raider team, I would advise Mr. Barr not to miss this one.
It's an interesting call by Dallas to turn that down. As Chris Barr chips it through, had they taken the penalty, Oakland would have had a third down, rather Los Angeles would have had a third down and goal to go,
the first
and they would have
tonight.
been at the 16-yard line. Interesting. We'll be back. 2:16 remains in the third period. Ron Fellows, Gary Allen are deep for the Cowboys. Chris Barr kicks off. To be the rookie, Gary Allen. And Allen works it out somewhere around the 18-yard line, where it'll be first down, Dallas. Dallas, last 3 possessions, punt, punt, punt. On 1st and 10. Ron Springs, uncharacteristically, doesn't handle. Good receiver, Ron Springs. That one, I maybe just took his eyes off it.
Could have been thrown a little bit behind him. That's kind of a difficult angle that you're running from that backfield. That ball's not laid out there just right. It's hard to change speed.
It looks simple, but as we stated in a previous game, it's one of the toughest passes a quarterback will be called to throw on. You know, they've been picking on Lester Hayes a little tonight. When you're as great as Lester, and you've been in the Pro Bowl the last 3 or 4 years, Lester's aware they've been throwing at him. I don't think he feels he's having a good game. I look for him to do something maybe spectacular before this night's over.
2nd down and 10. Oh, and Tony Hill in a violent collision. He ran right into Van McElroy. Tony Hill slow getting up, now limping a little bit, but heading back to the huddle.
Boy, you could just see this one coming, couldn't you? He's covered by Ted Watt. McElroy comes from the inside, but watch Tony's concentration. Wham.
Ooh, that's got to smart.
You sort of lose your concentration. You have that happen 1 or 2 times.
You're going to lose more than your concentration if you don't watch it.
3rd down and 10. Danny White now 5 straight incompletions. Here comes Alzado. White gets it off. And it's picked off. The flag is down.
He told us.
Flag is down. Lester Hayes is in the end zone.
Oh,
We're going to bring it back, I think.
Bring it back.
well, I knew Lester was looking to make a big play. Maybe he got there, maybe got a little too anxious. Forced his way in there a little too soon. We'll see in a second.
Defensive pass interference, 1st down.
Oh, boy.
Works against the Raiders and negates a Raider touchdown that could have put this
That would have been
in tough shape for Dallas.
You're absolutely
Well,
right.
as I said, those great cornerbacks, they take gambles. If they're getting beat, they're going to try to do something spectacular. And maybe he was a tad too anxious. We'll take a look at here who the penalty is on. I think he may have called it on Lester. He got there a little too soon. He was trying to make that big play. He was a little too anxious. And it looked like he pushed Drew Pearson just a tad before the ball got there.
Trying to hip him out of there.
Well, I knew he would gamble at it.
1st down, Dallas.
Almost.
Inside their own 36-yard line.
He'll try again, though. The great ones always do.
It probably felt good.
Danny White is back.
Look out.
Going to Billy Joe Dupree, who somehow held on as Van McElroy made contact again. Pickup of only 3 yards.
And you saw Van talking to him while they were on the ground. I'm sure he was telling him that was a great catch, Billy Joe.
Are you sure of that?
Well, McElroy's a Christian. I mean, he's really a pretty straight shooter.
Nice catch.
McElroy.
He's not saying, don't come back over here again. It seems to me that Dallas, when they're throwing the ball, they fail to find one defensive player. They're always throwing it. There's another defensive player they don't seem to see.
That's the Raiders. They move people around in such a funny style.
Let's go, man.
Danny White back again, gets the blitz, reads the blitz, goes to Butch Johnson, and Johnson will have a Dallas first down at the 41-yard line of the Raiders. That was a well-thrown ball under extreme pressure by Danny White.
McElroy looks a little, as if he's got an injury there. Look at it from a ground level. The Raiders they're in the defense they like to be in, pass rushing. McElroy comes across, got his head in there, got a snap on his head there. He seems to be.
Van McElroy.
McElroy is the kind of guy, though, that you talk about. He goes after them no matter where they are. You were knocked out a few times or not?
No, I never was knocked out. I got hurt once.
Yeah.
Little Jim Chiansky hit me coming in the hole. An ex-teammate of mine, and had a fullback that forgot to block him. It wasn't Jim Braxton. He wasn't in at the time, and he hit me. I never saw him. I walked off the field. I was sitting on the bench, and everybody was yelling, "There's only 10 men on the field. There were only 10 men on the field." And they realized it was me, but I had no air in my body, so I couldn't say, "Hey, I'm hurt." I was just sitting on the sidelines trying to get air.
Tony Hill back in. Splits up to the top of your screen. Drew Pearson goes left. Timmy Newsom now a single step back for the Cowboys. Danny White throws behind Ron Springs. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And McElroy making sure he's in Dallas. Yeah, I'm all right. You always say you're all right, but you wonder what you're doing there.
You know, they always say, huh? You see a guy hurt, you walk over to him and say, "Man, you all right?" Huh? Now, you better sit here a little longer.
Repeat the question, please.
Huh?
Danny White brings up the Cowboys. 2nd down and 10.
Beautiful play.
Well worked play. Tony Dorsett breaks one. And credit Butch Johnson with a great block at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
Dorsett all the way down to the 10-yard line. Make it the 15 as they mark it out of bounds there.
That's Butch right there on Big Lyle. Is that Alzado? No, that's not Alzado. Oh, was it? Yeah, it was, I think. That was Lyle. Good move.
And he had to be careful. He could not crack back on Alzado. He had to block him high. He did the job, and the Cowboys have a first down inside the 15 of the Raiders.
Well, we saw Marcus Allen make a nice run on the other end. We see Tony Dorsett come back. That's the value of having those great running backs in your backfield.
At any moment, they can break it.
Any moment.
Draw play. Springs.
Didn't make it.
And defensively read so well by Rod Martin.
Well, he's a good back, but not quite a Marcus Allen or Tony Dorsett.
Final seconds expiring here in the 3rd quarter. There was a loss of 3 yards, and when we come back for 4th quarter action, it'll be Dallas. 2nd down and 13. We'll return after this from our local station. A wildly enthusiastic crowd. 2nd down now and 13 for the Dallas Cowboys. They trail by 10 points as we open the 4th quarter. The Raiders with a superb defensive effort tonight. They played some great football. Cowboys with explosive offensive weapons. They have led all NFL teams through 7 games in racking up points in the 4th quarter. Of course, they are 7-0, and in each and every game, they've had to come from behind to win.
They attribute that to kind of a new conditioning program that they had not only in the offseason, but their training camp. Tom Landry's Get Tough policy, they call it.
Tony Hill to the left. Drew Pearson to the right. Play action. Danny White Looking for Springs.
Oh, he had him.
Incomplete. He was there, however. He was being covered by Ted Hendricks.
He had old Ted by a couple of steps.
Yeah, well, when you've been in the league as long as Ted Hendricks, 36 years old, you can cover him for a short distance, but you can't cover him for a long distance.
Yeah, he's done some things over the years. He had 25 career blocks. He scored 3 touchdowns. He has an NFL record of 4 safeties. He's never missed a game dating back to 1969. This is his 207th consecutive game played tonight. And we like to watch him play. 3rd down, 13. 17-yard line of the Raiders. The Dallas need points. They trail by 10. 3 wide receivers, Johnson, Drew Pearson, Doug Donnelly. Looking for Donnelly.
Got it. What a catch.
Yes.
What a catch.
Doug Donnelly, the former Ohio State record setter, who has really started to come into his own this year, sprints into the corner of the end zone, and Dallas will draw within 3.
Pretty sure that was Otis McKinney that was covering him. Not positive, but that was a beautiful, beautiful display of concentration. Once again, Doug Donnelly. That is McKinney. That ball is pretty well thrown.
Now, and you talked about what they do at halftime. They wait for situations when they know they can get this kind of coverage. Single coverage on a speedy wide receiver. As Donnelly ambles in for his first Dallas touchdown. He'll have many more. He was not even expected to play. Pulled a muscle earlier in the week. Stepped in. Through the uprights. And an electrified crowd here at Texas Stadium showing their appreciation. The Cowboys coming back. Doug Donnelly, who set all those records at Ohio State, came up 2nd-round draft pick in '81. Had a good game filling in for Tony Hill against the Giants earlier this season. But he has given the Dallas Cowboys a good solid goose when they need it the most. They trail now by 3. We're in the 4th quarter. Stepped in will kick off. Greg Pruitt is deep with Clee Montgomery. Montgomery this time will stay in the end zone.
Probably a good move on Montgomery's part. They didn't field that one. Look at this pass again from the other side. What do you think about that one, Juice?
Well, he had time to throw. That's the first key. And Donnelly, a 9'4" sprinter, can't give him this much room to work on a guy.
Donnelly loves the fact that he outran Dorsett this year in training camp in the 40-yard dash. He became the fastest man on the team. He thinks that's really neat. And it is pretty neat. What do you think about it?
Well, that was during the offseason.
Mark Wilson comes back out. The Raiders have huddled together on the sidelines. They're a tough team. They're a together team. And Mark Wilson looks it over. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Marcus Allen, the flag is down as Allen goes down in the arms of Bob Bruning.
I thought I caught a slight movement left side of the Raider offense, which would be Bruce Davis.
79 offense.
There you go.
You got it.
You got it.
Sort of a late flag, though, huh?
Let's take a look at the numbers as they transpired through the first half. Rushing yards, Los Angeles surprisingly strong tonight.
Surprisingly, though, the 31 yards that Dallas had.
And we'll move along through the 3rd period. L.A. dominant in yardage gained.
Those 4 turnovers, though.
The turnovers have hurt the Raiders.
They're still ahead.
Yeah.
L.A. has been penalized 10 times for 68 yards tonight. 1st and 15. Frank Hawkins back close to the original line of scrimmage where it will put the Raiders in a 2nd and long. And we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves. Texas Stadium has been rocking tonight. Seesaw battle, the Cowboys and the Los Angeles Raiders. It's gone back and forth. The Raiders now in the 4th quarter with 14 minutes remaining have a 3-point lead. They also have a situation in which Dallas likes to blitz. 2nd and long. And there it is. It was Mike Hagman on the blitz, forcing Mark Wilson to release the ball prematurely.
We haven't had any word from the bench, but I'm a little surprised because Don Smerick was replacing Randy White on the 1st down and the 2nd down in there. We haven't heard any word that whether Randy White might be hurt or not, but they usually don't take him out. They usually take Dutton out.
We've been trying to check that out, and we'll let you know as soon as we can. They don't lose too much with Smerrick, but we have been told that Randy White has a cramp in his leg. Smerrick, not as strong against the run, but he's a superb pass rusher, number 60 for Dallas.
Dallas is one of the finest blitzing teams I've ever seen. Their linebackers hesitate. You don't think they're blitzing at the back. You run your pattern, and then they blitz. And they have the speed to get there.
3rd down and 11. Wilson, a lot of time. Marcus Allen with a great reception for the 1st down yardage out over the 30-yard line.
You know, I haven't heard a whistle.
And now they're saying no. Downs, Everson Wall's brother, moving into the end zone.
That's interesting.
Well,
Marcus got the ball. He went down. Nobody, I don't know if anybody touched him. He held the ball up. Walls took the ball, and I really didn't hear a whistle. Let's take a look and see if he was actually touched while he was down.
Great catch.
He's not touched yet.
He's not
He's
touched
not
yet.
touched when he took the ball.
Right.
Whoa.
Allen gets the 1st down for the Raiders. 33-yard line. Crowd showing their disapproval.
Should have been the 5th turnover. Whoop.
Anthony Dickerson, the ball is loose. And the Cowboys,
There's your 5th turnover.
with Mike Hagman, will turn it into a touchdown.
Oh, I can't believe it.
It's been killing the Raiders all year.
Anthony
The
Dickerson on the
Cowboys.
blitz. Knocked the ball loose. It bounced around. Mike Hagman takes it into the end zone. And there's a Cowboy down. Let's listen to the roar of this crowd. Hagman got the touchdown. Anthony Dickerson the sack, and Dickerson is on the carpet at the 20-yard line.
You know, this is, in a way, sheer speculation. I hate to do that, but in this good guy, bad guy image, the Cowboys have this clean-cut image. We work hard. We're going to be in great shape. The Raiders' image, so to speak, is, hey, let's go out there and have a good time. We may not make all of our curfews. And if it's going to show up, it's going to show up in the 4th quarter, as they say. You got to win this ball game in the 4th quarter. This Dallas team appears to me to really get something going here this 4th quarter. Way to go, Anthony.
But make no mistake, the Raiders got a lot of pride. When it's time to work, they work hard. And when it's time to play, they play
Harder.
extremely hard.
I like those kind of guys. Mike Hagman, touchdown there.
You're talking to the original, Juice, about that.
I like that. That's fun, yeah.
Great defensive team effort by Dallas has put them back on top. Septien for the conversion. Dallas has recaptured the lead. Let's look at it again.
They say they're lucky, but I tell you, they make their luck.
Dickerson knocks the ball loose. There's a scramble for it.
There was nothing lucky about that particular play.
Was that Jones that missed it? He was trying to cover the fumble. Hagman comes in, and Brunig's trying. Way to go, Bob.
A wild night in Texas. We hope you're enjoying, and we'll be back as the crowd rises to its feet. Dallas bidding to remain undefeated on the season. The only team with that record in the NFL. The Raiders trying to stay 2 up in the AFC West. Septien. Greg Pruitt. Pruitt saw a little daylight, tried to get through it. It closed at the 25-yard line. College football, one more reminder. ABC's NCAA College Football live, 2:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. Penn State against Boston College. Penn State getting it all back together again. They had a win over West Virginia this past week. Boston College with their great little quarterback, Doug Flutie. North Carolina goes against Maryland. North Carolina, 3rd ranked in the nation. Atlantic Coast Conference battle. Washington against UCLA. That one has Rose Bowl implications. You'll see it right here on ABC. Consult your listing for the game you'll see in your area. First down and 10, the Raiders. Wilson has the time, tries to get it into Christensen. A flag is down. Flag is down upfield. Hard-hitting football game throughout tonight. If you joined us late, it's been seesaw, back and forth. And we're going to have defensive illegal use of hands.
Appears to be on Dennis Thurman. He's the guy that's spending more time talking to our officials.
I tell you, how would you like to be looking for answers in Tom Flores' shoes?
Illegal contact, 32 defense, first down.
You come into a game, you've lost 2 of your last 3 games. You have the #1 defense in the NFL. You've lost 2 or 3 games. You've scored 35 and 36 points. You're in a game now with the #1 defense in the NFL. You have 34 points early in the 4th quarter, and you're still behind.
And you've turned it over 4 times. Each time it's been capitalized on by Dallas. First down and 10. Wilson wants a screen. And this time, Marcus Allen perhaps was fortunate in not handling, because that would have been a considerable loss.
That's a classic case of trying to run before you caught the ball. He wished he'd got the ball sooner. The backer was closing a little ground on him, and he was just trying to run before he got possession of the ball.
He might have lost 5 had he caught it.
Dexter Clinkscale sure read that one well. He was the guy that came up in pursuit of Marcus.
This crowd has been on pins and needles throughout the evening. They were excited. The Raiders coming to town. Again, we talked about it, but it's so true. The establishment and the rebels. Second and 10. Wilson.
There's that movement.
And a lot of open field. And Wilson inside Dallas territory to the 47-yard line. And we've said it before, but this is why Wilson is tabbed as the quarterback of the future for the Raiders. He can do many things.
You're going to see Harvey Martin get pushed way out behind number 79. Watch him come in there. He goes out. Then it open up right in the middle. Now that's where you might miss it. Randy White. He usually anchors down that middle pretty well. He's out with a, what is it, muscle cramp?
Well, that's one of the reasons why Al Davis wouldn't lose Mark Wilson. I spoke with him earlier today, and I'll talk a little about that after this play.
On first and 10, 47-yard line. Marcus Allen.
Ball up in the
Fumbled
air.
again. Another turnover.
Not yet.
And they're still
Not
loose.
yet.
I think the
Not.
Raiders are finally going to get it back. That ball was handled by 5 different players.
Too tall. Got a little cocky with his hands, and he tried to catch it up in the air.
Now, he's still 500.
You've been playing the league for a long time, batting 500.
Take a look at it from the end zone.
I didn't see who hit Marcus coming through here. It's Michael Downs. Look at old Michael Downs. I'm telling you, that kid's everywhere. Michael Downs out of Rice.
There goes Dutton up for it.
I didn't think Too Tall would try to handle it that way. Dutton's trying to get in the act.
Dickerson had it for a moment. It was knocked loose. And Dennis Thurman now struggles with it. That thing must be electrified. The Raiders come down with it. They have a second down and 9. The ball near the 45-yard line of Dallas. Wilson wants a big one. And Michael Downs misses on the diving attempt at the interception, and that's 2 or 3 times. Now Mark Wilson has hung that thing up, and he has speedy defensive backs. They're going to get near it.
Michael Downs was the closest one to that one. He wasn't. Maybe Calvin Muhammad didn't run as good a route as Michael because the ball was much closer to Michael.
Yeah, it wasn't a great pass. But getting back to Al Davis and the Mark Wilson situation, the Raiders are a team that, like they're from the old school, they develop people slowly. It took him 4 years to earn this job. Well, we'll get to it after this play.
Third down and 9. The Raiders averaging 8.6 on third down. Full blitz is on. Man is open. Doki Williams, and Wilkins will have the first down. Good pickup by the offensive line, and the backs have stayed in. I think it was probably Marcus Allen who stayed in.
All right, now let me try to get it out real quick now.
Okay.
Ken Stabler, they said it took him 5 years to get Ken Stabler ready to play. They spent a lot of time trying to get Mark Wilson ready to play. This is his 4th year. They said he was ready now, and he felt that he didn't have the quarterback around that he could take 4 more years to get ready to play. He needed Mark Wilson either this year or next year, and that's why he spent the money to keep him on the team.
Makes certain sense to me. Way to go, AJ. Way to go, Jay.
First down, 34-yard line. Hawkins left side and Hawkins inside the 30. He'll get 6. Tripped up there by Anthony Dickerson.
Does what you say mean that you need experience to play quarterback?
Well, not with most teams in the NFL. A few teams, the 2 teams you've seen on the field today, they'll draft the guy number 1 and they'll take their time.
Okay, I was just teasing. I just teasing.
Oh, well.
Okay, I like it.
I mean, I was ready for that one.
Yeah, you got it.
Third down and 4. Raiders inside Dallas's 28-yard line. Allen in motion.
Got him.
Christensen is open.
Telling you.
And he's bulldogged at the 10-yard line by Michael Downs, and the Raiders have come back. Cowboys on top, 38-34. Christensen working, move to the inside, breaks it off to the right, throws Michael Downs for just a moment. And Christensen gets another Raider first down at the 11-yard line. He has turned into a superb tight end. Todd Christensen had a big day last week, 11 receptions. Has come back with another fine night tonight. Hawkins trying to bull behind that strong, big, experienced offensive line. Hawkins gets 3. Frank Hawkins over 100 yards on the night. He broke off a couple of big runs in the first half. One of 34 and one of 23.
That speaks well of the Raiders, a team that has so many stars. You've probably never heard of Hawkins, and here he comes on a Sunday night and getting 100 yards against the Dallas Cowboys.
Raiders inside the Cowboys 10-yard line. Wilson is hammered as he tried to get the ball out to Marcus Allen. He was really taken by Hegman.
Boy, was he.
And that hurt.
See him moving his elbow.
Cowboys employing much more of the blitz here in the second half, and it's been very effective.
Hegman 58, you see come back to the inside, come right back in off of Marcus Allen's block. Marcus just tried to check block, come back to the outside, but Hegman beat him.
Better work on that check block.
Yeah, that check block. I told him check a little bit more. Make it a long check.
Randy White back in the lineup for Dallas. Out for a brief period of time with a cramp in the leg. As Mark Wilson comes up and looks down the defense, a 3rd and 8 situation. The rollout. And looking back for the same receiver, Christensen, who scored just before the end of the half. This time incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and out comes Chris Barr. And again, the Cowboys leading by 4 points.
And again, Mark Wilson was a little lucky that that ball was not intercepted.
Dallas has got to be pretty pleased they only got away with a field goal attempt here. However, you look back, they had several opportunities to recover a fumble up here about midfield a little while ago.
26-yard attempt by Barr. Mark Wilson, you must always keep in mind, is the quarterback, he's the holder.
Right through the middle.
The Raiders have drawn to within 1. 9:40 remaining in the game. A lot of excitement from Dallas tonight. Raiders trail by 1, and nevertheless they have put up more points against the Cowboys than have ever been put up there. 37 points in the history of Texas Stadium. Gary Allen very wisely stays in the end zone, and Dallas will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Wait a minute, is that really true? This is the most points that an opponent has scored against Dallas? I know you wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
He would lie to you.
No, you wouldn't. Gosh, that's remarkable. I'm going to help you with the numbers tonight. All right. How many points we have? 38, 75. We're only 20 points shy of last week's.
Thank you.
All-time scoring bonanza.
Oh, well, we got 9 minutes to beat it.
Tony Dorsett back in. We've seen a lot of springs here in the second half. Dorsett finds a handle, but he'll lose yardage back close to the 11-yard line.
A little dicey out there, wasn't it? Mark Wilson on the sideline.
He never really had a hold of this ball.
Don't know whether it had anything to do with it. Now that, but you know, he has his right hand that Frank mentioned earlier has a little cast on it. Has a broken bone in that wrist, but he just appeared to mishandle that one.
Yeah, I think he was looking downfield. You're playing against a tough defense. You want to see where you're going to run. Sometimes you forget to look at the ball.
We've had 76 pass attempts tonight. Dorsett breaks to the outside, and the Raiders swarm once again. And the Raiders are far from giving up this football game.
Well, they weren't going to get beat twice on the same play. That's the play that Dorsett broke earlier in the game. A little delayed draw there.
That was Lester Hayes from his cornerback position that made a good charge, but he saw Tony try to bounce it out to the outside. He came in and...
That'll bring up a 3rd down and 14. Dallas changes. The Raiders also adjust with defensive personnel to match the offensive power that Dallas has put on the field. We'll watch it from the end zone as Danny White operates from the shotgun. Goes to all the plays called by Tom Landry. Danny White, Ron Springs. Springs will be short of the 1st down. Out over the 25 to the 27, and Dallas will have to turn it over. They bring out the punting unit. Danny White stays on, of course. He's been punting since the 2nd quarter. And Greg Pruitt drops to the 35-yard line. Raiders should have good field position.
They better make sure that Danny punts it.
You know, I was just thinking that, and I said, no, I'm not going to say that. That's silly down here on the 27-yard line. But
the Raiders also will be thinking that. Low kick, the kind you can run back.
You bet.
And Pruitt, with little or no regard for the body, hurdles back to midfield. 36-yard punt by Danny White. Raiders, excellent field position. 7:50 remains in the game. And it's 38-37, Dallas over Los Angeles.
Think it's enough time for 3 more touchdowns?
It's not time for all sorts of things, but I think, you know, with the Frank hit it right there. They're sitting here at the 50-yard line, so you say, okay, I can go 20 yards, and I can be ahead of this. Be ahead. I can kick a field goal on these 20 yards.
Marcus Allen in motion. Hawkins, right side. He runs into Big John Dutton. Still manages to squirm to the line of scrimmage.
Big John Dutton, former All-Pro from the Baltimore Colts. He was tough. They had him playing defensive end at that time.
Defensive right end, and he had to make quite a change to first defensive left end. That didn't work out when Ed Jones decided to be a boxer. Moved him into defensive left tackle. He found a home between Randy White and Ed Jones. 2nd down and 10. Wide open is Dokie Williams. He drops the ball. And there's a scramble, and Dallas has it.
I'll be doggone. Is that not unbelievable?
Another turnover.
Unbelievable. That one really was. Now, that's the one you got a feeling that Oakland, I didn't say that. The Raiders.
That's true. 1-1.
21.
Williams had the 1st down by plenty of yardage. He let it go, and Dexter Clinkscale recovers for Dallas. Oh, is he open.
And a beautiful pattern. As I said all day, they're giving him a lot of cushion back there.
Dennis Thurman.
Dennis Thurman makes things happen.
But that didn't, you know, that ball looked like it just bounced out. Here comes Dexter trying to get it.
Dallas 1st down and 10. 7 minutes remaining in the game. Dallas with a precarious 1-point lead. Springs. Right. Dorsett. Seven-yard pickup. Not just from the end zone. This happened a moment ago. Dokie Williams wide open. Thurman came in underneath Dokie Williams with a blocking tackle. And there is the mad scramble, which ultimately Dexter Klingscale comes up with. Dorsett got 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. The Cowboys at their 42-yard line. There was a mix-up in the Dallas offensive set. Danny White tried to readjust it. His receivers, wide receivers, were in the wrong position. He looked at the 30-second clock, said, no, let's don't blow it here. And he takes timeout. We hope you've been with us throughout the night. We've seen some superb offensive football. Two teams highly rated defensively. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys have a 38-37 lead with 6:19 remaining in the game. And Danny White looks over a 2nd down and 3. The ball at the Dallas Cowboys 42-yard line. Dorsett. And good swarming defense, Rod Martin. And Dorsett to the line of scrimmage. That's all. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Nothing open up the middle. That's where they're trying to go. They're closing it off. Dorsett's having to bounce out to the outside, and the pursuit's catching up. Rod Martin's a heck of a football player. O.J., he's done such a good job there with the Raiders.
Well, we've talked about him in the past. He's their defensive captain. He's led the team in tackles the last few years. He's leading the team in tackles this year. He's by the linebackers, and
he's a typical Raider, too. They drafted him in the 12th round. They cut him. He went wandering off to San Francisco. They brought him back. They've just let him develop.
Like they do their quarterback.
Please. No.
3rd down, 3. The crowd, many of them on their feet. Timmy Newsome wide open. 1st down Dallas. Raider territory at the 42. And Timmy Newsome has made some great plays for Dallas this season. He won almost single-handedly the Tampa Bay game when he threw it into overtime with an unbelievable pass from Danny White when he tiptoed down the sideline and hurdled over one defender. And he's a big man. He is right up there around 235. And he nevertheless has the grace and the agility one would not suspect that he would have.
He just outmaneuvered old Rod Martin, the guy we were talking about that time.
It's quite appropriate that he beat Rod right as we were speaking about it.
1st down, time now beginning to be somewhat of a factor as Dallas playing ball control. Play action, Danny White's in deep trouble. And Matt Millen, who's played a great game tonight for the Raiders, swarms all over Danny White.
One of the things that you see, Danny didn't check that linebacker right there. He made his fake, didn't look for Matt Millen. Matt keyed off that running back going to his right, followed him in there, and nobody picked him up.
He did what O.J. mentioned a moment ago. Ron Springs stepped up to block him if he came. He didn't come. Springs looked for somebody else, and then he came. And he had a clear shot at Danny White, a loss of 12. 2nd down and 22. Dorsett. And Dorsett is buried at the 48-yard line. He gets 5 of it back. It'll still be 3rd down and about 15.
Well, if he has to get all his 5 yards like that, he's not going to be in this league much longer.
That was a tough one.
He's working for that one.
But they did keep that ball in the bounds, so that clock keeps running. And I think that is something. We're talking about 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes. 3 minutes 45, 42, 41, 40. Hey, look. Hey, 39. Hey.
You know, it's funny. We talk about the lack of defense in the league. You see a guy like Tony, who over his years in the league, he have always averaged over 5 yards a carry. In this game, he's down to 3.3.
3rd down, 15. Raiders need a big play defensively.
There's Butch. No, look out. That's going to be picked off.
It's picked off.
Maybe. Whoa.
It's Ted Watts. And I guess perhaps Tom Landry thinking, well, if they pick it off, it's just like a punt.
He doesn't think that way. That was a badly thrown ball.
But it has the same effect as an incompletion followed by a punt.
Well, I don't know. If they would have tackled him right away, if the receivers would have tackled him, it would have been a great punt, the effect of a great punt. But by not tackling, they brought the ball back to the 25.
A big guy named Bill Pickle. You don't hear much from, number 71.
2 guys there. They could have tackled him inside the 10-yard line.
Now the Raiders. They have 3 timeouts. 3 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. The Raiders trail by 1.
Oh, he did get hit.
Hello.
Bill Pickle.
Mark Wilson. He's been spectacular tonight. and he has been not so spectacular tonight. Todd Christensen, whistle is blown. He was touched by Michael Downs, short of the first down, a gain of 8.
Well, I think the whole ball game may be on this drive. I doubt very seriously, with the time left in the game, the Raiders will punt the ball if they do get a 4th down situation.
Well, can you think of a better opportunity for Mark Wilson, as they say, to get the seasoning? So this is an opportunity, 1 point down.
Yeah.
They had to have a lot of faith to throw him into this tonight against the undefeated Dallas team. Hostile territory. 2nd and 2, and it'll be close. Marcus Allen, the ball carrier. There's Ted Watts. He got the turnover for the Raiders.
Speak more slowly, Ted. We couldn't understand you.
That sounds like me.
Clock has started. They say it's not close enough for the measurement.
Frank, incidentally, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League, as we all know, is prohibited.
It's intended for the
Private use.
Okay.
3rd down, less than a yard.
Good effort.
Marcus
Good
Allen.
effort.
Great effort. Looked like he was going down, and it now appears he'll have the first down.
Randy White was the one that tripped him up a couple of yards in the backfield, but couldn't hold on. Good second effort.
Well, I'm sure you got a nervous Chris Barr on the sideline right now. It appears this game may come down to him.
2-minute warning, and it does appear as if Marcus Allen has picked up the first down. And there is Chris Barr. You better believe there are butterflies churning in the tummy. Football for the 80s. We've seen 2 weeks of it now. A lot of offense. Superb athletes on the field. 2 minutes remain to be played. The undefeated Cowboys leading the Los Angeles Raiders 38-37. Wilson on his debut this season, 22 of 45, 267, 3 touchdowns. Marcus Allen. And Marcus Allen has earned the respect of the Dallas Cowboys defensive unit. They were very hesitant about coming up on Allen, and he picks up an additional couple of yards, a total of about 8.
Well, he earned a little additional respect from Dickerson, 51, the linebacker, because when he came up to make the play, Marcus gave him one of those punch stiff arms, you know, when he's punching right in the jaw. There's no penalty when you hit the linebacker in his helmet, or on his helmet.
It should be. That's a naughty no-no.
2nd down and 1. Wilson, and this is Dokie Williams, and the Raiders are getting closer. 38-yard line of Dallas. Dennis Thurman, again, giving Dokie Williams a lot of room, too much room.
They've been doing it all night, giving them this much cushion. I'm surprised that they're taking advantage of it here this late in the game. I felt they could have done this earlier in the game.
Pretty good indication that Dennis had him man-to-man, though.
I think
Chris Barr has got to be the nervous Raider at the moment.
Frank, you made a point last week. I think it applies this week. They better not score too fast.
Listen to that crowd. 1st down, 10. Wilson, good pass protection. He gets it into Todd Christensen, short of the first down by about a yard. And it's much closer to the field goal.
I think you're going to see a couple of runs now. I think you'll see a few runs now.
Raiders use one of their timeouts, and Wilson will come over to talk to Tom Flores.
I think I'll run the ball or try to run the clock down a little bit now, get the ball maybe 8 to 10 yards closer. We'll be around 40 yards at that point, and that should be in Chris Barr's range.
Chris Barr, 6 of 10 on the year. His best coming into tonight, 42 yards. He had misses, however, this season from 26, 36, and he missed a pair of 41-yarders, so they want to get him in close.
Well, he cut the interceptions for the last couple of weeks down to 1.
They're going in the right direction, aren't they?
I'd admire these Raiders. So many distractions at odds with the entire National Football League. Moved Oakland to Los Angeles, won an antitrust suit, which is, of course, in the appellate court now, federal court in San Francisco. That should be coming down very shortly. But they've had so many distractions. The eminent domain suit with the city of Oakland, and yet the players show up to play. Hawkins, and he'll get the first down near the 26-yard line. And from this point, Chris Barr would be looking at about a 34-yard field goal, call it 44. He'll be kicking from about the 34. They want to get him closer.
And they're going with no huddle to try to keep Dallas from making substitutions. I'm sure they'll run it. Oh, I'm a little surprised there.
Mark Wilson, Dokie Williams, Dennis Thurman was 10 yards off Dokie Williams.
Don't understand that. Now, you
But
got to
that was
get
a
up.
smart play.
You got to get up there and do that.
But it was a smart play. They went without a huddle, so Dallas couldn't do the things they want to do defense. I didn't think they'll throw the ball because they can get a sack or they can get a holding penalty, which would put them out of field goal range. But they did the right thing. We see an end zone play. They went on a quick count with no huddle. Dokie Williams ran a simple out. It was a safe pass.
Yeah, that's what
That's been their caviar tonight. They've come back in front of Thurman in single coverage. Dennis, respecting the speed of these wide receivers, has been playing well off, and they've been coming back to it every time they needed it.
Well, this offense has been known to self-destruct.
Hawkins.
You're going to start getting some timeouts from Dallas before long.
Just remember, 6 turnovers already for the Raiders tonight.
And
They've been known to hurt
they're
themselves.
still in the ballgame, aren't they?
They're going to let it tick down. Dallas has 2 timeouts, but the Raiders could
That way go,
make
Tom.
them use all of those.
That's right.
Now he's trying to tell them.
Too late, Tom.
And Mark Wilson will not snap that till the 30-second clock is trickled down to nothing. Good defensive effort. Mike Hagman, who's played a whale of a game tonight for the Cowboys, who are right now looking straight into the eyes of their first defeat of the season. And this man is the one who could provide it. Dallas now stops the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining, 29 seconds remaining in the game. And Tom Flores
Take a look at
kept
this
the club
last play.
together.
Normally when an outside linebacker comes, he belongs to the halfback. It looked like he came inside of the tight end or the wide receiver. But normally that would be the halfback's man, Marcus Allen's man.
Split a little bit too wide, I think Marco was, and he just moved into the inside right at the last count.
A little lack of communication there because Dallas let about 20 seconds trickle off that clock before they killed it with the timeout. The Raiders now will have a 3rd down, goal to go. The ball up at the 10-yard line, and kickers live in a funny world, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. You see them stand over the sidelines, and everybody say, okay, the game's right there. But as a player, you don't really mess with them too much.
Oh, you don't even look at him. If you catch eyes with him, you know how you turn away from him?
Yeah.
You don't want to bother him at all. And believe me, if he missed this field goal, if he gets a shot at it.
I bet you he's relieved to see them down somewhere around the 10.
Yeah, they won't be looking at him then. Knowing this Raider team, they may be looking at him real close.
Chris Barr has been around a while. He started out Cincinnati. 2 years in a row, he had the longest field goal in the NFL. And he's not long anymore. At one point in his career, back in the mid-70s, he took 155 yards. He just needs an accurate one tonight.
He needs an extra point.
Dallas holding on to an undefeated season by 1 point. 3rd down, goal to go. Hawkins. Dallas trying to tackle the football, and of course Hawkins, having been told he better hang on to it, and here comes Chris Barr.
Well, they got it right in the middle. That last play was designed more than likely just to do that. Running play right straight up the middle, put the ball right in the middle of the field, make it as close to an extra point as you possibly can.
I tell you, Danny White wish he hadn't called timeout earlier in the quarter. They just used their last timeout to stop the clock.
23 seconds remain. And they still have not talked much to Chris.
Just leave him alone.
He's won a lot of football games, not having the best of seasons thus far this year. I mentioned earlier he's had misses from 26, 36, and a pair of 41-yarders.
That's funny how they'll forget the ones he won if he misses this one.
The undefeated season that Dallas has already talked about. The victory string of 7 in a row is on the line. A 26-yard attempt by Chris Barr.
Look at Big Too Tall winding up right there in the middle. Ball game.
Not necessarily.
No, I
20
believe
seconds
it.
remain, and the lead has changed again. The Raiders are on top, 38-40.
2 completed passes. Well, it's going to be tough to complete them and stay in bounds.
I haven't been able to sing my song the last couple of weeks until closing credits. It's going to be another one tonight, it looks like.
It looks that way.
You think it's over?
Well, I think you get a lot of letters if you sung it on the Cowboys tonight.
Timeouts, Dallas 0. Raiders have 2. 20 seconds. Here we go.
Ron Fellows will bring it out.
That was a mistake right there. That's a mistake. You don't do that. You stay in the back in the end zone. Clock, still got 20
Clock
seconds.
stops with the exchange of units on the field. 16 seconds remaining. And Dallas, with the loss tonight, will remain 1 game ahead of Washington in the NFC East, while the LA Raiders will move to 6-2. They'll remain a leader over Denver in the Western Division of the AFC.
And if you want to see a cushion, you take a look at Van McElroy.
They could get an end zone shot with 3 men back. The deep defensive end, Ted Watts, is 30 yards from the line of scrimmage. Intercepted, but out of bounds. Watts. I want to remind you, coming up next, immediately following the game, an expanded edition of ABC's Weekend Report. Of course, again, the discussion of that tragic happening in Lebanon today.
It's been a good football game. Good football game.
That's what we were discussing a moment ago. The Raiders are not going to give up anything big.
Try to get to your fast man right down the middle and hope he can slip some tackles and go.
An emotionally draining game, and next week, the Raiders will take on Seattle in Los Angeles. We'll see them again December the 1st at San Diego.
This is not a real good stroke for clean living.
This one is looking for a penalty. And Lester Hayes goes up, doesn't handle. It'll be 3rd down with the last play of the ball game coming up.
Lester didn't have to move 5 yards from where he lined up to make that play. He was 40 yards downfield.
Mark Wilson's first smile of the night, because I think now he knows that he has been a winner in his first start this season.
Despite 6 turnovers, one which was his.
Tom Landry just walking by Dick Nolan, whom he coached and has coached with over the years. Wilson on the night, 26 of 49, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not a bad debut. Dallas, by the way, next week will be at Giants Stadium. And we'll see them again December the 19th, going against San Francisco. Don Springs. The ball game is over. This one is history. Any plans for an undefeated season by Dallas go out the window on the arms, and really the gutty performance of the LA Raiders. This young man, Mark Wilson.
They're a fun football team. I don't care what you say. I enjoy watching the Raiders play. They're a good football team. They play. They really do know how to play when they have to.
They sure do. They keep it interesting. I mean, even with that defense, it's 3 weeks in a row here, or 3 or 4 weeks, they've had to score at least, they had to score 40 points to win. They did what they had to do to bring home a victory.
Thank you,
40
Don.
to 38.
And Siri thanks you.
You're welcome.